welcome live here from the TU Delft for the regional final Europe. I feel incredibly honored to be here today to wish you a warm welcome on behalf of ClimateLaunchpad. My name is Suze Gehem, and it felt like coming home here today because 10 years ago I actually graduated here in Delft. And as many of you today, I am also an entrepreneur. And as a matter of fact, I didn't really notice that I was an entrepreneur after 3 years of being in the entrepreneurial background. I realized actually this is me. And it's amazing to see that now after 10 years there's so many amazing programs like we have here today with you, and that you are all working on creating a more sustainable future for our planet. We are not going to talk much about all the crises that we're facing, energy, climate, wars, etc. I am feeling so optimistic when I see that there's almost 2,000 people applying for this beautiful program, and that today we have so many of you who have been pitching this morning with all your best efforts to show what you have to bring to the table in order to change the future that we are facing. It's going to be an amazing event. We have a lot of information to share with you. And of course, we will announce the winners of this regional final later on today. So stay tuned. We were very impressed with all the participants, adaptation and resilience, blue economy, circular economy, the future of the food systems, the sustainability of mobility and urban solutions. I can go on, but we don't have the time to go into detail on all the different subjects, but we are trying to show you, like to tease you a bit with all the beautiful things that are happening around here in this beautiful program. The amazing thing about ClimateLaunchpad is that we started off in 2014, and I've been told that there were 11 countries participating, and I think it is amazing that we have over 59 countries at present joining this global participation of the finals. Therefore, we also have 4 regional finals, and today it is time for Europe. So we're going to show you the best we have to bring to the table in order to change this future of us. And before diving in, I think it's wise to at least thank our main partners of today. First of all, of course, ERT Climate-KIC, because this program is part of their offerings for entrepreneurs. The TU Delft, where we are today, Irish Aid, and also the Bank of America. And Bank of America in particular, because you are supporting this regional final today. So before we're diving in, I think it is about time that we are going to ask on stage Emily Bronzing. She is program lead of ClimateLaunchpad. Emily, come and join me.
Thank you.
So how is it for you today? Are you happy with all the things that have been happening already this morning?
Yeah, this morning was absolutely fantastic.
Yeah?
Yeah, this morning we had more or less 55 different teams from all the 18 regions 55. We have. The 18 countries in Europe.
Wow.
And there's 55 teams that were going to pitch in closed doors in 8 different team rooms. And out of those teams, we are going to see the best today, and we'll announce the top 24.
And well, you are like in the midst of it. You know most of the startups personally, even. What is it? Why is ClimateLaunchpad, and why are all the entrepreneurs joining? Why is it important to have us as a group of entrepreneurs in resolving climate change?
ClimateLaunchpad tries to fix climate change, and we are trying to do this one startup at a time. So we are running this program to help entrepreneurs, to give them the skills, the opportunity they need to create and to start their business. We do it by coaching sessions, bootcamp sessions, and a lot of different trainings to give them the great skills to build their own entrepreneurs. And that's the way we try to help them to get to fix climate change.
It's really amazing, because as I just said, like 10 years ago, I just had to find my way myself, and now you have this amazing network of people joining together, and you can exchange all the things that you're working on and face the challenges all together.
Yeah,
that's a beautiful thing.
Yeah, it's beautiful.
Did you see any changes over the last couple of years if you look at the program of ClimateLaunchpad?
Yes, of course. We have changed the competition. We went globally. Even every year, we got more and more countries participating.
Because India is joining, America is joining.
Yeah, so we have 4 regional finals: Africa, Europe, of course, here today, but also the Latin Americas and India and the Pacific,
wow,
Asia
amazing.
Pacific. And it's interesting to see that every year there are requests from new countries, from new continent. So it's interesting to see how the program is going globally, even every year more and more. And besides that, we made a decision to go more online. We had to, obviously, in the last 2 years. And it's nice to see that we have, that's giving us opportunity
to scale even further.
Yeah, to scale further, but also to give more entrepreneurs opportunity to participate into the program with less carbon cost, but also more people at home to see what's going to be today on national and final levels.
So the organization itself also got more sustainable along the way?
Yeah,
because of the COVID
yeah, we had
situation.
to, but it's also, we are running a climate challenge program, so it's good to
So now people from all over Europe are watching? Maybe even abroad, because they're interested what's happening today here in Europe in this regional final. So who are these amazing startups that joined?
That's a good question. Yeah, a lot of different startups. Yeah, there could be startups that can be your neighbor, for example. Yeah. So a lot of different people that are running and participating into this program. And it's interesting to see that every year the level of the participants that are participating is growing. So that's very nice to see. And we have different teams. So this year we have, for example, a lot of growing teams that are participating in electronic and to see if we can reduce energy, different ways of storing energy. So it's very interesting.
Oh, wow.
Circular economy is also a hot topic this
booming.
year. So,
booming business.
Nice to see.
And what happened this morning? Because there's a lot of people watching now at this moment who already sweat this morning because they had to give their best. What happened?
Yeah, this morning we had in 8 different teams, 55 teams that were pitching.
Wow.
And out of those different teams, in each team we selected the top 4. You are going to announce the wildcard winners today. The wildcard winners are still having a chance to participate and to get a spot on the grand final. But we are also going to announce the top 24 that already received a spot at the global grand final. And they will announce them soon. So that happened this morning.
Beautiful. And we have a jury. The jury is present here today. We will introduce them later on because the top 8 will get a spot here today to pitch and moreover to respond to the Q&A in order to win that prize, the top 3, because we have a special prize today to deliver.
Yeah. In the end, everybody that participated today and already could participate at this regional final is a winner. Yeah. But we have outside of the 24 teams that are going directly to the grand final, the 8 wildcard winners that made a chance. Yeah. But in the end, the jury this afternoon is going to make the decision who is going to win the 3 cash prizes. So for the number 3, the best number 3 of the regional final Europe will get 500 euros. Number 2 will get 1,000 euros and number 1, 1,500 euros.
Amazing. Yeah. So we will see them pitching live here today. So if you were in one of the breakout rooms and you missed all the other pitches, well, the top 8 of today will pitch here in front of the jury.
Yes.
Wow, that is
and
amazing.
We wish them good luck, of course.
Yeah, definitely. So shortly we will announce the 24 teams that will make it through the global final. And we will also tell you who will be the 8 wildcards that still get a chance for this place in the global finals. Yes. Amazing. So we are very curious what happened this morning, of course, and I think it's about time that we ask our national leads. I think they are live with us today because I'm, wanting to hear their perspective on what happened. I think they will pop up right now. This is, I think, Kyriaki Kyprianou from Cyprus. Yes, welcome. It's amazing having you here with us live. So how did the pitches go today?
Hello from me as well. Hello from Cyprus. The pitches were great. The startups really showed their passion and they really wanted to show the judges what they've been working on. And always my heart goes out to them because I know that the hard work they put into creating their pitches. For them, it's a 6 months journey leading up to this moment.
Yeah.
So yeah, it was great seeing them present their final results.
Oh, amazing. Because how can you pitch in a few minutes something that you've been working on for probably years or months or for a long time? Oh, I totally get it. And what room were you in?
It was clean energy, one of the hottest topics.
Nice. And what did surprise you most in the pitches that you heard today? What was the most surprising insight?
The most is how every year we get different ideas, more innovative ideas. You think at some point, okay, we will get to see repeating themes or innovations, but the startups every year surprise us. And it's
Amazing.
amazing to see this, yes.
Ah, wow, that is so amazing. So I think also here at this moment is Florian Schanzig. I think he's in the Zoom as well, from Students Innovation Center in Austria. In what room were you today?
Yes, hello.
Hi.
I was in the next big thing. Thanks
Okay.
for having me.
And what is the next big thing?
That's a good question. I don't want to spoil anything. You will announce the next big thing quite soon.
Yeah.
So yeah, what surprised me was the background of the ideas and the people and what big problems they want to solve, and how they try to achieve their goals and what the ideas contain.
And what do you think did this program bring to the entrepreneurs that participated this year?
I think, like every year, it's this motivation and also the community, sharing ideas, sharing passion, and also like having this one goal to fix all the climate change. But what we experience in Austria here is that every year, also from the experts and the people coming in, also the ClimateLaunchpad trainers, they give so much more knowledge also from different contexts, where the people and the ideas develop further.
And what do you wish all the participants of today, the 54, the 55 even, that pitched today, what do you wish them for the future? If you would give them one thing
Well,
they could take
I
away.
I wish them good progress and that they keep on going, even if they not pitch today, or if they need to like end their businesses. But it's always a process, and I wish them all the best on their journeys.
Oh, that's so great. And Kyriaki, do you have some final words for all the participants of today, maybe? I think you're also still here.
Yeah, I'm here. It's that first of all, they need to be proud of themselves, that because although if they may not make it to the top 8 or to the global finals, they were the top 3 of their countries. They already achieved so much, and this competition is only the first step to the long journey they will have ahead of them. This means nothing in the long entrepreneurial journey. Not to give up, just keep going, and it will work out.
Wow, so amazing. Well, thank you also to you as national leads, because you are very important for the program and also for the entrepreneurs that are joining also this year again. So thank you so much, and we'll see you later. I think it's time. I think that this is the moment that we're going to announce the wildcards. I think they are coming towards me because this is so live, because everyone pitched this morning that, yes, there it is. Thank you so much. I have the wildcard nominees here. This is also new for me, so we will see what's on my cards. I have 8 people who still might join the global finals this winter. And this means actually that we are handing out wildcards in every region, and that next week an international jury will deliberate and will announce who will win these beloved places in the grand final. So the 8 people that I'm going to announce, they are already winners, as we just heard on the screen, but they still might compete for this famous spot in the global finals. So let's not wait any longer. I have one for every theme. So the first theme will be adaptation and resilience. It's a shame that I don't have like the drums who can like roll, but they are from Romania, and they are called Carbon Smarts. Carbon Smarts, it's their mission to democratize how carbon deposits are currently measured and monetized. So congratulations to you. Then, in the theme of blue economy, from France, we have SAO. SAO is a sustainable sportswear that brings a positive solution to the management of fishing nets by recycling them into technical textiles, 100% designed and produced in France. Congratulations to you too. We're going to head on to circular economy. The wildcard for circular economy goes to Estonia, the Rewear company. the ReWare company is building Europe's first fully circular and managed rental marketplace for new pre-loved kidswear that will help parents save up to 70% of their children's clothes and reduce their carbon footprint by up to 80%. So good luck to you, ReWare company. We're going to head on to clean energy. Clean energy the wildcard goes to Portugal. Portugal with Windcredible. Their vision is to produce cheap, reliable and clean energy by upcycling e-waste and plastic into wind turbines, idealized for urban, industrial and rural applications. We're going to head on to food systems. All the teams of food systems get ready because Italy has won the wildcard. To Terra Vionics goes the wildcard. They offer data-driven agri-tech solutions designed to reduce concerns of small-medium farmers linked to climate change, such as productivity, profitability, and complexity. Good luck to you in the wildcard. We're going to head on to the last three, I guess. Yes. Sustainable mobility. That wildcard goes to Ireland. Ireland with Ginger Aid Gods. Their project provides an adaptable, environmentally conscious, lighter-than-air, LTA, unmanned aerial vehicle based on balloon technology. Well, I'm very interested what that will be like. So, congratulations to Ginger Air Gods. Urban Solutions goes to Spain. Aldia Energy is the wildcard for. They are developing solar plants in unused rooftops in city centers, promoting shared self-consumption. It's such a shame that we don't get to hear all the stories behind these beautiful startups, because wow, it's amazing to hear all the innovative ideas here. The last theme, the next big thing. The wildcard goes to Italy. Agritech Futura. They are developing a hybrid tree capable of sustaining branches severed from a tree as a consequence of deforestation or pruning practices in order to preserve their ability to dissipate CO2. Well, good luck to you. Also in these wildcard nominations, we see them on the screen at present. These 8 organizations will perhaps make it to this global final, and we will hear more about it in the upcoming weeks. So congratulations to the 8 organizations that pitched this morning. I think we're going to head on right away. We have had the wildcards here. Congratulations to you. I think it's about time that we will make the announcement for the 24 teams. That is half of the people almost who pitched today, that is going to present themselves at the global final. And the honor is not for me, but for 2 people who are here in the back. Come, join me, please. Emily, we saw you already this morning, this afternoon. And David Watt, you are a strategic programs builder at EIT Climate-KIC. Come, join me here in the light. Yes, thank you. So this is the moment that we've all been waiting for. Who is going to that final? You have a list. You have a list.
Yes, we have.
We will do tuck, 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 tuck. And we will do 24 in the same manner as we just did the wildcards.
Yeah.
And we will announce them for every theme, I think. Huh? So we will start with adaptation and then, so on. Okay, let's just dive in, because I think at home people are with sweaty hands waiting for this news. The first theme will be adaptation and resilience. I think you will...
Yeah.
And what is important? We will name 3 people, 3 organizations for every theme. The third is having the 3rd place in this theme. The second will be announced is second, and the first, so that's really important, is going to pitch this afternoon in front of the jury and might win one of the 3 prizes of today. But everyone announced gets to go to the global finals. That is correct, right?
That's correct. Yeah.
Okay, so you will announce number 3.
Yeah.
Go ahead, please.
Adaptation and resilience, number 3, from the Netherlands, is Climate Guardians. And that's the first play to preserve mobile strategy game.
Wow, amazing. Congratulations to you for your spot.
Yeah.
Then we go on to number 2.
Yeah, the number 2 is coming from Azerbaijan and is named Recepta. And that's a technology company that offers a recipe management app.
Wow.
And the number 1, that's somebody who's going to see later today. From France, from sand to green.
Wow.
And they develop a unique approach to create new wearable lens in deserts. But you will hear more from them later today.
Amazing. Thank you so much. So the first three spots are like handed out. So now we continue to blue economy. David.
Thank you very much. Okay, so in the blue economy, in third place, representing the Netherlands, we have Waco. So Waco develops innovative solutions to produce electricity from ocean waves.
Wow.
In second place, from Israel, we have Gigaton. Gigaton's novel approach and technology will remove CO2 from surface ocean air by exporting intensified algae into the deep ocean. And finally, in first place, also representing the Netherlands, we have FlexiWEC. Their idea can turn wave energy into an affordable source of green electricity and fight coastal erosion.
Wow. Amazing. So congratulations to all three. And number one, we will see later on. We're going to head on. Circular economy.
Yeah, circular
Yes.
economies. Number 3, representing Finland, is pre-loved coffee. And that was founded to mitigate the devastating effects of spent coffee grounds on the environment by innovating valuable products.
Congratulations to you.
The number 2 from Switzerland is Microbag AG. And that's developing a circular material made from waste, which is applicable in different industries as an alternative to fossil-based forms. And then the number 1 from Ukraine is Eslip. It's a product of truly green packaging that consisting of 2 plant-based components.
Amazing. We will see you later. Thank you. So the next theme, clean energy. That will be you, David.
So the winners from clean energy. So in third place, from Austria, we have Solar Spider. Solar Spider is a new photovoltaic facade mounting system for industrial buildings. Wow. In second place, from Spain, we have Solar Wheel. So Solar Wheel proposes a solar energy solution that reduces the need for connecting e-bikes to the grid. And in first place, from Switzerland, we have 2D membranes for carbon capture. And their product provides an efficient and cost-effective way to bring down CO2 emissions from industries such as cement and steel.
Wow, amazing. Thank you. Congratulations to you. Food systems. Let's go to the next theme.
Yes, the number 3 is from Estonia, Smakri. And that's a precious fertilization planning platform that allows farmers to get soil nutrition profile on spot.
Wow.
The number 2, representing Turkey, is Biopulse. And Biopulse is a new generation food storage technology with antibacterial and antioxidant properties, which reduces concerns of meat producers and customers on food safety and shelf life.
Wow.
And the number 1 from the UK is Vibe. And Vibe creates sustainable textiles out of potato harvest waste.
Wow, amazing. Congratulations. Sustainable mobility. The next theme.
Let's get
David,
started.
bring it up.
Okay, so the winners from the sustainable mobility theme. In third place, representing Ukraine, we have First National Ukrainian Truck Freedom. So their electric trucks have the potential to make freight transport all across the Ukraine carbon neutral.
Wow.
In second place, also from Ukraine, we have Max R. They work on the development of innovative energy storage sources that use graphene. And in the number 1 position, we have H2 YAM, which provides engine conversions to professional ship operators, taking them from fossil fuel combustion to H2O combustion.
Wow, we'll hear more about it later. Thank you. Urban solutions.
Yes, the number 3 is from Turkey, Studio Bio. And this upcycle food waste is collected from the various cafes, shops and industrial producers. The number 2 is from Israel, is EVA. And EVA develops a new building materials, saving energy and carbon footprint of cement productions. And the number 1 from Italy is Clean Air Italy. And this technology provides a solution for healthier and safer spaces.
Wow, amazing. Amazing. Thank you. Congratulations to all of you. And then the last theme, the next big thing.
Finally, the next big thing.
Yes.
Okay, so this year, our winners from the next big thing theme are in third position, representing the UK. We have Sparkcell. Sparkcell developed a climate-friendly and circular-enabled alternative to traditional effect pigments, which is based on cellulose. In second position, from Switzerland, we have Revozona Ozone Solutions, which replaces the current chemical and water-intensive pre-treatment and bleaching of textiles with a new technology that uses ozone gas as a strong oxidant. And finally, the number one position from Estonia is AriCare. And AriCare have created an innovative technology and recipe to produce powder-based hand wash, which can be mixed with tap water.
Wow, amazing. Congratulations to all 24 teams that made it to the global final. I hope that the top 8 paid attention. I think they will be on the screen later on, because the top 8 we'll see them in a short moment here pitching their ideas in front of this beloved jury that we're going to introduce later to you. Also the 8 wildcards, congratulations to you too. You might just get this spot in the global final, so please stay tuned, and next week probably, right? They will hear more about this deliberation of the international jury on that topic. Yeah, I think it's about time that we take a tiny little break. But we wouldn't want to miss, because we have 1 or 2 minutes, our next keynote speaker. So grab your coffee or your water or whatever, and be back behind the screen, because we have Dr. Gerdien de Vries. She is an associate professor climate psychology at the TU Delft, and actually she will give a talk on how psychological barriers can cause difficulties in establishing a sustainable business. That sounds demotivating. Well, on the bright side, she gives some examples on how we might, deal with these barriers. So this will be like a positive story. So grab your coffee. We'll see you back in 2 minutes. Thank you. Yeah, welcome back, everyone. So before the break, we just heard about the 24 nominees, or the people who made it to the global finals, and also the 8 wildcards that were nominated and that still might get this spot at this global final. It's amazing that you're back here with us, and I already quickly introduced to you Dr. Gerdien de Vries. She's standing here next to me, and we will hear more about her talk. It's not easy being green. And perhaps you might have some questions. We would love for you to fill in some questions. There's a QR code below on your screen, so please go to that place. And after the speech of Gerdien, which will take about 30 minutes, we will be back and we will talk about the Q&A together with you, yes, and with you at home. So please use the QR code to ask some questions. Ladies and gentlemen, here is Gerdien de Vries.
Thank you. It's an honor to be here today, because I think it's good to be here on stage and to do something live. It's a bit different than normal, of course, because you are over there and I'm here. But I love to talk to you about why it's not easy to be green. But you guys online, and all the people that took part of this event, are of course already sustainable. So you also have to, because before the break you said that this might be a bit demotivating, but it's not in my essence to be demotivating. It's in my essence to be motivating, and to tell you a little bit more about the background of why some businesses might find it hard to become green. But of course you are already green, so please let this be in your back of your heads. First of all, I was also already shortly introduced, but I will introduce myself more properly now. I'm an associate professor here in Delft at the Faculty of Technology, Policy and Management. And that's actually the faculty where we also do a lot of research on public administration, economy, so a lot of the stuff that goes on beyond the technology. So we work together with the engineers on a lot of socio-technical problems, technology, policy and management, of course. That's in the name of the faculty. So we work together with the other faculties in that sense. I'm also a scientific director of our energy transition lab. So at our faculty we have a lab that does dedicated work on the energy transition. So we also deal there with technology and policy in and around the energy transition. But we also work on climate adaptation and also on energy efficiency, of course. At the TU Delft, we also founded a platform for social innovation, because we wanted to show that besides technological innovation, the social part is also very important. You can make the best things and invent the best things that there are, but of course there must also be public people that use it. We also study the behavior of the engineers themselves and the policymakers. The whole system is very important. Therefore, we thought, okay, we need that social innovation platform as well. And to show you also that this part of psychology and climate psychology is also important in the rest of the world, there is a platform from the International Energy Agency that is dedicated to behavioral insights and how they are implemented for policy making. And we actually see that around the world, and the public, you are all from around the world, we already see that behavioral insights becoming more and more important. And I will tell you a little bit more about that during the presentation. And yeah, as you already know, I was called and I was mentioned as a climate psychologist. And actually that name raises a lot of questions all the time, because what is a climate psychologist? And actually, I was not a climate psychologist when I came here. I was branded climate psychologist by a newspaper once, and then the label was happily taken over by a lot of other people. So now I'm a climate psychologist, and I will tell you a little bit more what that is and how I interpret that. Climate psychology, so what is it? It's not the classic view on psychology. So a lot of people, when they hear psychologist, they think about this, like a person on a sofa with problems, and someone else, the psychologist, the Freud type, that talks with this person to discuss the dreams and the problems of this person. And that's not what I do. So I'm not by training a clinical psychologist. So I don't treat people with climate depression, for instance, because that's often being asked to me, do you treat people? And I say, no, it's not my type of work. There are clinical psychologists that do that type of work, but I'm a researcher, and I research people, and I research the people, the mind of people and the behavior. And I put it in this slide. This is a kind of a definition that I think I do. So what we actually do is we study normal people's behavior within energy and climate-related issues. And why this is important? This is important because people and how people think and what people do, they don't do that in a vacuum. It's part of the larger system. And when you look at bigger socio-technical problems, or even wicked problems, as climate change is, then you have to look at the whole system. So my colleagues who make the big models at the faculty, who do the mathematical models, for instance, they are focused on this system. And sometimes when they, for instance, do agent-based modeling, they also treat people and individuals in that system as zeros and ones. And then we, as psychologists, can say, okay, maybe the human being is a little bit more complicated than a 0 or a 1. And we have to take these perspectives from psychology and the knowledge that we have on how people think and how people behave also into these models. So what we actually try to do is create a system with all these insights that we have from different scientific backgrounds and different scientific disciplines, and mold that together in this system. And then we try to make sense of it, and also we try to think, okay, how can we use this knowledge about people and technology and policies in this system to create, for instance, interventions, new policies, but also, of course, technology. So to give you an example, we work together in projects also within our university with people from aerospace, and they're building these amazing new technology and new innovations, all the things that you probably also are doing now. You create and innovate technological new things that might make the world better. But of course, you also need to take into account that what you create and what you make is also accepted by people and also used by people, and also that it is not rejected by policies or regulations. So we try to help the engineers by creating this larger view on how the technology will be accepted and how the technology will be used. And actually what we actually also found very interesting and funny is we also take a look at the engineers themselves and see that some of the engineers have an optimism bias, which is in itself very good, because engineers need to be optimistic about their product and their projects. So if you create something and you are an innovator, of course you need to be enthusiastic about what you do. And of course you need to think that everybody would like your product as well. And then we say, okay, maybe we can help you also see if your optimism is realistic. Are the things that you think about your project and your technology as people also think it's like the end users. So with aerospace, we have this project now on kite power. These are kites that generate electricity. There are demo projects, so it's not that it's really out in the open yet, but there are demo projects. And we can actually go there and ask people, for instance, in the vicinity of such a pilot project, how they experience these kite powers in this sense, how they see the kites, if they think that they make noise or not, if they like the colors, these kinds of things. So that is how we as climate psychologists can cooperate with the engineers. And we can work together in these large projects to see, okay, how can we make the best use of this technology and policies. So this is individuals within a system. This is also really the view of the TU Delft climate psychology. If you go to other universities, it could be different, but we take this system approach. And it is relevant to include psychology in this larger field of research, because we can actually make policies, of help making policies and technologies better, and that's also acknowledged in other organizations throughout the world already. So we see also in the over the 10-15 years that I do this work that there's really an incline in interest. Also, there are really more and more people, also funders, who are interested in this social part. And we also see that with a large funding that we need to get, that often there need to be a paragraph on social acceptance or the human side of a technology. Now that I come to the part that I promised to talk about, the barriers. And of course there are, we talk about barriers, but barriers can also be facilitators. For some people, the things that make it difficult can make it for other people less difficult. But I will focus on barriers because that's, I think, easier to explain. Let's first start with the whole idea of a green business. So there might be different reasons. So these are actually the facilitators to start a green business. So for you, there might be all kinds of reasons to do that. So if you think about that from a psychological point of view, you could be intrinsically motivated to better the world and that you wanted to do something green and sustainable because that's something that you find as a person important, so that you also want that for your business. It could also be that from a business perspective, you think, okay, I can make a lot of money with a sustainable business. That's the reason why I do it. And it doesn't really resonate with what I personally think, but okay, that could also be a reason. It could be a reason to start a green business that you want to attract employees. And we see in research also that young people might find it more and more important to work for a sustainable employer. So that could be a reason that you also want a green business. And take into mind, this could be a reason for starting a green startup. So if you start at the beginning, but these motivations and considerations are also for businesses that might not have started as green, but as grey businesses that want to become green. And I think the barriers that we will go into on the next slides might also be more important for those companies than maybe for you who already are starting with the idea to start a green business. So there could be more reasons. Therefore, I put on the slides also some open spaces, because there can be a lot of reasons for you to start a green business, and also for grey businesses to become green. I put here a news snippet because I saw this 2 weeks ago. I think that the green tech is becoming more and more popular, and that's also, I think, really a signal of the time. So it's interesting to notice that. So let's go to the barriers. Actually, this is a slide that I often use because we can put in the middle white circle, all kinds of green behavior. In this case, it's a sustainable business, but you could also be greening your own house, or the barriers that you come into if you want to stop riding a car and getting more green mobility, for instance. But in this case, let's zoom into the sustainable business. If you have the sustainable business, there can be all kinds of barriers that you can encounter before you get into this green business. And these barriers can have all types of reasons. I put the psychological barriers in green because that's my research focus, but there are a lot of barriers. And for instance, if you look at another example, so maybe not a sustainable business, but people who want to have a more sustainable house, you can think of barriers of money. Money is always a very important barrier that we see in research. But it can also be technological barriers or barriers, for instance, in the characteristics of your house. You might want to buy solar panels, but if you don't have a roof of yourself because you have an apartment, that's a barrier. Then your intentions and your motivation and your knowledge can all be good. You know that you want to become more sustainable. You know how to do it, and you have a positive attitude towards that. And maybe you also have enough money to buy it, and maybe you also have a roof. But then still, it could be that there are other barriers that withhold you to become as green as you want. So there are a lot of barriers, and if we zoom into these psychological barriers, which of course I think are the most interesting, you can see that there are a lot of mechanisms that can play a role that stand between you and your green goal, whatever that is, green business or greenhouse or whatever. And these psychological mechanisms are very interesting. And I once did this overview of famous people who have done a lot of research and a lot of knowledge gaining for psychology as a scientific discipline. We see that a lot of these things, these mechanisms, which are universal for a lot of behavior explaining, that they could play a role. So motivation is, of course, an important role if it becomes to if we talk about green behavior. You can think about emotions. People might be fearing the future. So you might be led by fear. Values is a very important one. The worldview that you have, the value that you place on the world. I also put myself on this slide, which is a bit arrogant because I put myself between Freud and other famous people. Sorry for that. But I wanted to include my own research because the type of research that I do is I look into hassle and habits. So I'm looking for the psychological barrier that, for instance, hassle can be. And hassle is like all the micro stressors and frustration that you come into when you want to become more green. And if it's about a house, for instance, you can think about filling out subsidy forms, finding a contractor, the mess in your house once you are, for instance, having the contractors into your house. All these small micro stressors, if you add them up, it can become things for people to not do the green behavior that they actually want. Habit is also a strong one. And that could be that you're used to behave in a certain way and that it's very difficult to change your behavior. I put some examples here on the slide to show how this works. So the thoughts that people can have when it comes to becoming more green. And the examples that I put here in is more for, I think, the companies or the organizations that want to become more sustainable than they are now, and not as much for you who have started already as green. So it can be, if you look at habits, that people find it difficult to do their work differently. They are used to a certain way. We actually did some research 2 years ago on conservatism in the building sector, and we found that a lot of people working in real estate, they are very used to the old ways how they do it. They know the materials, they know how to work, and they find it very hard to find new materials and new people to work with because you know what you have, and that's a certainty, and they feel safe with that. And going to work with new people or with new materials is maybe scary, and also maybe you don't trust that as a company. And I think that's also important for you because you make all these nice new technologies and maybe new products that you want to sell outside to the world. But take into account that on the other side, people who you want to buy your product, they might be conservative in that sense. So it also takes maybe some effort to get people to buy your stuff. The hassle factor, which is my pet project, my pet research practice, is about that it takes so much effort and time to change your habits and to become more green. The example that I gave, the subsidies, the rules, regulations, especially nowadays, technology evolves so quickly that sometimes regulations fall behind. And then you can have the problem of not getting into the right way to do it and to get your business going. I will not mention them all. You can probably read them, but these are all psychological mechanisms, and these are often unconscious processes that play a role why people, even when they want to become more sustainable and when they are motivated and they know what to do and also have enough money, can still not be as green as you want. And then you come into the next problem, because if you want to become green and you are not, you have this tension in your head that your behavior and your thoughts are not in line. And that's called cognitive dissonance. You probably have heard about it. And what people automatically try to do is to reduce this tension. So you either have to change your behavior or change your thoughts. But this is a very difficult situation to be in. And a lot of these psychological mechanisms are very unconscious, so you probably don't notice, besides that you feel this tension and don't feel at ease. And an example of this, what is completely unrelated to where we are here for today, is, for instance, smoking. A lot of people know that they should stop smoking. They know it's bad for them, but it's very hard to stop. So you still smoke and you don't want it, and then you have this tension. And a lot of people who smoke then are not going to change their behavior, but their thoughts. And then they say, okay, my grandmother, she became 99 and she smoked whole days and she's not dead yet. So how could it be so bad? And these are these things that you can say to yourself, which are maybe not that rational, but they are functional. So, as I promised, I will also start, or I will also end more motivating than be demotivating, because these barriers can also be overcome. And especially, not all of them, of course, because overcoming psychological barriers is difficult, but some of them are easily to overcome. And I think what I wanted to give you today is some of these reflections on at least be aware of the fact that there are psychological barriers. I think that was my number one purpose for today. Please think about it. Don't only think about technology and money. Also think about this whole world of psychology that plays a role when you are innovating. Be aware that there are barriers and also try to map them for yourself. I think one of the most important things to do is that you know that you have to make a journey, that you are starting somewhere and you want to end there. And there are a lot of stops that you have to take, and it's a long journey. And the barriers that you come pass in this journey might be very different. So there might be financial, there might be technological, regulations can change. You might find difficulties with trusting people or having people to buy your product, which also might be psychological. Try to map this, so try to really visualize your journey with the stops and the barriers, and try to tackle those barriers one by one instead of looking at it as a giant mountain of issues and problems that you get. So going through that journey, visualize the stops and the barriers. Don't be afraid to ask for help, because everyone encounters barriers and there are people out there who will help you. And try to tackle that and go along. And we also know from research that being green actually makes you happy. So it is something that is good, and although there might be a lot of stuff and obstacles that you might come along with, try to remember that too, that it's making you happy, and you know also that the purpose is good in the end. So be aware of the barriers and try to tackle them. That would be 2 of my takeaways. And I guess that brings me to the end of my presentation. I have some slides with some references if you want to read more about this. There's a lot out there, but you can also contact me. So I have some contact details here. And I think that's the end of my presentation.
Gerien.
I try to track time, but I'm not sure what the time means anymore. So.
I think we still have some time for some questions.
Okay.
Yeah. Let's see. There's one coming in. How do you distinguish between mental load and micro-stressors / hassle? That's a good question.
Yeah, I think also it's a semantic question. Mental load and stress and micro-stressors or hassles can all be the same, I think. So it's indeed the load that you feel mentally. And it actually, I like the question because it gives me the opportunity to stress out that hassle is a perception. So it's not like an objective thing that you can measure. Well, of course, we try to do it because we work at the University of Technology and we want to quantify everything. So I try to quantify hassle, but it's really difficult to quantify hassle for another person. So you always have to see for yourself how much hassle do I perceive.
Yeah.
So actually, I think my boyfriend, for instance, is more hassle sensitive than I am.
Okay.
So if we discuss those kinds of things, we for instance wanted to make our house more sustainable, and at that moment, if we try to find that out, I see, okay, my patience maybe is better. I have more time to find it out, but of course it's my job. And he gets annoyed after 15 minutes looking for subsidy rules in the Netherlands. That can be very frustrating. So yeah, nice question. Thank you.
Is there like a difference in approach when you look at hassle or like real stressful events in how coping with it would work
No,
best?
we are just looking into that now because the hassle is a stress factor according to theory. But my wish for the next year would be to really measure it with stress measures. So you can
How do you do that?
You can measure stress levels with sweat, for instance. But we can also instigate stress. You can you have all these cortisol tests. It's a bit technical maybe, but you can actually experiment with that. And then, my wish would be to have a couple of people behind computers and let them find out, for instance, subsidy rules, and assess their stress levels and see if they're really more stressful than.
We could also do it with all the pitches, like see
Yeah.
whether
We
some are
need
more
equipment, so we don't have it now. But
Okay.
maybe.
Do you
maybe
also
later.
look at the neuro part? Or is that
Not yet. That could be something for the future. For now, we started with this whole hassle factor research on a theoretical basis, and the students are now starting to actually measure it. We have a choice experiment done where we wanted to see how much people are willing to pay off hassle. You can think of being completely de-hassled, is that a word? Ontzorgd in Dutch. So we thought how much would, for instance, people, this is not part of the research, but that would be my question, how much are people willing to pay for a complete renovation of their house? So do you, for instance, want to pay 5,000 euros? Give your keys to someone, you go on holiday, come back, and your house is completely... no, that's not 5,000 euros. That would be 20,000 euros.
But you pay 5 for the hassle-free experience.
5 for the hassle-free. 5,000 for the hassle-free experience.
I would sign here.
No. I know that's for materials, and depending on the renovation, it becomes a lot of more money. But then, we are trying to quantify indeed how much de-hassling costs.
What I also found interesting recently, I read about like perceiving stress, because you said also like it's about perception, and that stress is not per se a negative thing, because you can perceive it as something positive that can motivate you. When you have to pitch your startup, you feel like, but you are more keen on delivering the right message. You're more eager, perhaps.
There's a tipping point.
There's a tipping point. Okay.
So if you are well prepared or an expert in something, then stress is good. But if you're not prepared, then it's not good. Then it's really, bringing you down. So that's indeed
it's a fine line, and it depends on the person.
But also, that of course, it's also stress sensitivity is something personal. But with if you pitch all the time, so for you guys, if you do that all the time, and you have done it 10 or 20 times, it becomes easier and less stressful. Well, we know public speaking in itself is stressful, but if you do it a lot of times, then your body also gets used to that. So that's it becomes easier over time.
So stress per se is not negative.
It's not per se negative.
Thing.
No.
Okay, no, that's good. Let's see if there's more questions. Yes, some people don't believe that my invention is a green technology. How do I facilitate this barrier?
That's the barrier from the other person.
But it also has like a lobby thing under it, right?
So it's of course very difficult to answer this without knowing what the invention is, because
please write in the
Why? That's a lot of questions. Why don't people believe that your invention is a green technology?
But imagine. We can maybe do like a little role play. I will be whatever organization could this be?
I can maybe say something about greenwashing, because in general that's okay? Is that a thing to do? Because that is an issue, and we also do research on that, and especially with companies that have from origin a dirty image. It is very difficult to get this going on and say that you are having a real green technology. Because people expect from certain businesses that they are not really green.
Yeah.
So they think that it might be manipulation, or that they are greenwashing, that they're pretending to be more green than they actually are,
Yeah.
to make a profit and to sell their product.
Yeah.
So, and that we know also from research is is really a bad thing happening, because if people perceive that you are not fair or not
Yeah.
honest,
You even stress it more by saying like one little thing we're doing here is
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
more sustainable than that basically intrinsically says like all the other is bad stuff.
yeah. And what you really should do is point out what is green and not green about your technology.
Yeah.
So we found that even the organizations that have energies or technologies that are partly maybe not so green, that if they only promote the green part of it,
Yeah.
people have a question in their head, and they say, okay, what is it really so green, or is there something that they don't tell us because they want to make money with it? So probably they are not as green as that is. So it's better to be very honest
Yeah.
as a company about what is green and what not. What are the benefits and the
So then they come with a roadmap and say like, well, in 1 generation we will be fully fossil free, for instance.
yeah.
Like how would we perceive that?
Yeah, I think it's all about being very honest and transparent about what the product gives or not. And,
Yeah.
and also don't try to hide the things that might not be clear yet,
yeah.
or
Yeah.
that might
Yeah.
not be so green. Because
Yeah.
it's better to be honest, and that you have people that really believe you and find you credible, than that you build up this fluffy story and
Yeah.
yeah.
And
people have
maybe
their
also
doubts.
you open the doors for people with great ideas to, like if you're honest about
Yeah.
what challenges you're working on, then startups like the ones
Yeah.
participating today can maybe also provide a solution for a
Yeah,
specific
definitely.
element.
Yeah. It comes back from all types of research that companies need to be credible, honest about the pros and the cons of their product, and also simple in their words about what they do. Don't fluff it up too much.
And for instance, because the question triggered me, I would have a startup that wants to market a very sustainable energy solution, generation, and then you have all the lobbies of the big firms that might like sort of question your credibility because you're small or whatever.
Yeah.
How can you cope with that? Is it like, do you have to hold like a technical pleidooi, what is the word, like a
Argue or
speech
some-
or
yeah.
argue, or is it like how can you sort of relate, because sometimes it's more emotional type of barriers that might
Yeah.
be like
I think it really depends on who you're talking with. And
Yeah.
I would say that because some people might be interesting more in the technological story behind it.
Yeah.
Others might be more interested in the marketing story, and
Yeah.
other might be interested in the fact that you are just an honest, maybe also very intrinsically motivated person that wants to better the world.
Yeah.
But that could be, but maybe not sometimes that works for all companies and all pitches.
So what would be in our toolkit? We have like the technological, the type of arguing. We
Yeah.
have the emotional type of
Yeah.
response. What other tools do we have to?
Financial.
Financial, yeah,
You have to have a good story.
calculating.
Yeah, and also your marketing, of course. I think that should all be part of it. But yeah, I think, but that's maybe from my type of research, that honesty and credibility is always the most important.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
be yourself, and especially, it might be very competitive, and I know that some people might need to pitch, of course. But
Yeah.
authenticity is really a strong influencer.
Oh, I
So
love it that you say that.
Yeah,
Because that's what I encountered as well, and there will be a lot of technical people probably also, because it's like all clean tech solutions and da. But we also need to like have this human perspective, and it's like an honest story from
and
inside out.
especially if you are young and it's your first business and you might be insecure, but it's not a bad thing. You can show that if your story is good and you are motivated, then show it. It's also my approach to try to be authentic. Yeah.
Wow, that's very good. There's another question.
Yeah.
Are there barriers that are culturally specific? Good question. We have like all regions here today.
Yeah. I think many of the psychological barriers that we research are not really culturally specific. I think maybe how they come out or how they are experienced might be different depending on maybe not your culture, but also your personality or your upbringing or the field that you work in. So the general biases and the strongness of habits, etc. These are researched all over the world and are strong human things. The hassle factor we just started to research. So maybe that's a good research idea. That we do research on cultural.
How maybe the south of Europe will be less hassle
For instance,
oriented,
and
or
maybe
likes a bit of chaos instead of the Netherlands and Germany. Who are like
That could be, or the more that you, the closer that you live together, or something could also be maybe perceived as more stressful or something. That you, don't know. Good idea.
Yeah, definitely. There's another question. What is your favorite nudge to change behavior? Do you have an example?
Yeah, I have an example. If we talk about green behavior, I think my favorite nudges are the technical nudges, such as my eco default setting on my laundry machine, which is a very good nudge because it's very simple. I bought this new laundry machine, and the eco setting is the default. So that's the most environmentally friendly program.
Yeah.
And that's if you press start, that's the
default.
The default. So you actually have to do something more to have
to take it off the most
to have a
sustainable
not green program, which is a hassle factor. So you actually create hassle for the unwanted behavior. So hassle can also be used for behavior that is not green. And of course the shower timer.
Yeah.
It's a very good one. So there are a lot of small nudges, and often I like the small cheap nudges.
Yeah.
So the €3, or maybe that's also more expensive because my
well, like a you mean like a zandloper, like a timer on
these kinds of nudges really help well. And my favorite nudge of the future would be like I'm talking about subsidy forms.
Yeah.
And they can be very complicated.
Oh yeah, totally.
That they are like pre-completed,
yes.
like tax forms. That's in the Netherlands. The audience, of course, not only Netherlands, but we have these pre-completed tax forms that really have a lot of information already about you. That helps you. I would like to have that also for subsidies.
So today we have like pitches and we want to win something. We are all winners, of course, but there's also this element of serious gaming that might also play a part. Is that also something that you research on how?
Not yet. There are some PhD students of mine who want to do that and who want to take that into their research schemes. But it's not really my field yet. But we know that gamification really helps to change behavior because people like to have fun and to play, to collect things, and these can all help with green behavior.
Yeah. I heard about the University of Utrecht who created this game, and you would have, for instance, your a washing machine, and then it would be sick, and you could make it healthy again by lowering, for instance, the temperature, and you would only gain points if you would do it at home. And by doing all these different challenges, the like behavioral change afterwards was even higher than during the game that lasted 3 weeks. So it was like 30% of energy reduction because of a game. And I was like, we have to play more games.
We did. And people like that. Like people like Fitbits and smartphones and collecting points.
I'm so part of it. Gosh. Okay, one last question. How can we motivate people to get more green? How can we make things cool as Tesla? Yeah, you talk about marketing already.
Simpleness. What I said, you have to make things easy for people to motivate them to get more green, especially if it's not intrinsically motivated behavior that you want from others. So that could be one. And make it fun, make it easy, make it timely also. You have to see directly maybe what you do. That's also something that comes out of research. But it really depends. It's a very general question. It really depends on your product. What is your target group? Is it children, or is it older people, or is it students? So you can motivate students with beer, but that's maybe not children. But you can choose for your audience how you motivate. And psychology has a lot of knowledge about this, and we always say. So we also work a lot with policymakers that it's not IKEA. It's not a one size fits all. You really have to target. What is the behavior you want? What's the behavior you don't want? Is it a behavior change or new behavior? What's your target group?
Oh,
Yeah,
but
and
it's really, this is like really interesting for all of us, I think, because I studied industrial design here in Delft, and I think that the advertisement type, like and the marketing around it, we use it to create all these images. Why everyone started smoking? Why like all these different types of behavior? We could use the same power to like to scale and to like boost really all these innovative good stories.
Definitely. We're working
About
hard
storytelling.
to identify all these points, but very good questions because this is where it goes. Yeah, this is the heart of the research we do.
Ah, amazing. So we will definitely follow you in all the research that you're going
I
to do.
hope so.
If you have something from us, like if we can help you in your studies, you let us know.
Yeah,
Because I think we all love to join, and I think this is like a very beautiful add-on on only the technological perspective that we have, because of course it's clean tech today, but there's also this human behavior, and I really love the authenticity that you stressed today. So I think we will all take that with us.
Thank you very
home.
much.
Thank you so much.
Okay.
So that was Gerdien. Let's see. I think it's about time. So maybe for the people at home, you saw already 4 amazing people sitting next to me all day long. This is the moment we have all been waiting for. And you were also like listening very carefully, because we announced all the winners, but the top 8 will be shortly pitching to you. This is our beloved jury. Sjoerd van Hooijdonk, you're from Bank of America. Sjoerd, what will you be looking for in the pitches?
Yeah, let me start out by saying that I'm looking forward to all 8 pitches today. Obviously, in this competition, climate and social impact will be paramount, but I cannot resist putting on my corporate finance glasses and also looking at the market and financial potential of the ideas that are being pitched.
Oh, nice. Svanette van Lubeck, TU Delft. How can the teams really impress you today, the 8 teams?
One, of course, is the pitch, which we're going to listen to.
Yeah.
So, and I'm happy that, I mean, they could all practice already this morning, right? So we'll see it again. But of course, it's also, and I agree with my neighbor, it's also the impact they want to make. I think to really see what is the potential they think.
Not just a beautiful idea, but something that is scalable, that really gain an impact.
That they think this through.
Oh, that's very good. Joost Matteau, investment manager at Delft Enterprises. What will you be looking for in addition to what's just been said?
I'm interested to see the innovativeness of the ideas.
Yeah, so not just an incremental change of something that was already there, but like something truly...
And also how they can translate it to a competitive advantage for their business.
Ah, nice. Okay, we'll hear more questions about that later on, I guess. And then Ilona Puskas from EIT Climate-KIC. What would be your advice to the participants who will pitch here?
Yeah, just to echo our keynote speaker, authenticity is also quite important for me.
Yeah.
And creativity in general. So.
Ah, beautiful. Well, we can't wait to hear you in the Q&A. So what we will do is the following. We have the 8 pitches. They will be presented right now on the screen. This is also the order. So the first one is coming up shortly. And then we have the pitch of 5 minutes. And then we will switch to the team. Live here in this studio, and we will do a Q&A with our beloved jury. We will do that 8 times, so it will be quick, and I will be like very I will keep the time, and afterwards we will have a short deliberation with the jury, and then we will have the final results ready. So in about 1.5 hours, we will have the winners of today. So 5 minutes, 3 minutes Q&A. 8 times. So this will be quick. Let's give it up for the first team. From sand to green.
Do you know that each year we're losing 10 million hectares of forest because of agriculture to feed an ever-growing population? And do you know that on the other hand, aridification of soil and desertification impacts 13 million hectares, mainly because of climate change. Hi, my name is Ben, we are Sand to Green, and we're here to cultivate deserts. To do so, we provide our agroforestry plantation as green investment. This investment held in special purpose vehicle, a juridical entity that mandates Sand to Green to set up and operate agroforestry plantation in arid environment. Those plantations generate revenue thanks to food and biofuel production as well as carbon credits. The profits are redistributed to the SPV and to Sand to Green. This model is the one used by renewable energy to face a situation with high capex and low operating expenses. Our beachhead market is the regenerative agricultural investment market. And because of the growing awareness and consequences of global warming, and because agriculture is one of the major sectors on which we can have an impact according to the IPCC, the global regenerative agriculture market is projected to accomplish significant growth. Our regenerative investment generate 1.3 to 1.6 times more yield than monoculture plantations. The impact generated, such as biodiversity increase, soil regeneration, food resilience, as well as social welfare, allow us to sell our carbon credits at a much higher price. But you must wonder how we transform arid lands to arable lands. Our solution is divided into 3 bricks. The first one, a unique agroforestry model, which is the result of 4 years of R&D and collaboration with scientists across the globe, from CGR to CIRAD. Our patented model not only integrates satellite analysis and the best combination of trees, but also modelize profits and needs for our plantation, as well as the carbon capture. Our second brick, small-scale desalination units with brine management, are bringing water to our plantation. And those 2 bricks feed the third one, which is our agroforestry plantation that not only produce food and biofuel, but also capture carbon to issue certificates. After 4 years of experimentation, we not only managed to grow trees in desert and produce food, but we also succeeded into improving our soil. We conducted more than 200 interviews among our upstream and downstream customers to have their insights. We found out that investors are looking to decarbonize their assets and are searching for multi-impact projects with good return on investment, while food wholesalers are looking to increase local product and food resilience in their arid country, as you can see in the news. CO2 emitters must comply with COP21 legislation and are looking for more carbon credits to compensate their emission by 2030. Finally, biofuel producers have to increase their production without doing deforestation, neither competition to arable lands. Our green investment product represented here as a 20 hectares agroforestry plantation generates significant revenue with only 1% market share, with more than 6.5 million profit per year. The key drivers to increase this revenue are the size of the plantation, our market share, as well as the time before investors buy a new plantation. We have an impact on climate because we absorb CO2 more than any other agricultural system. But we also have an impact on biodiversity, as our plantation and agricultural system is the one that brings more diversity in terms of species. We bring life back to and biodiversity back into arid lands. And finally, we also have a positive impact on water, as we do not use fresh water from the aquifer, but we produce fresh water from an undesired resource. Our team is composed of smart and ambitious women and men from various different countries, and some of them have already reforested more than 1,500 hectares in desert. And the team is dedicated to feed the growing population with a sustainable food and biofuel production system. Thank you.
Wow, that was our first pitch. Jerry Short, what is your first question for the team? They are right here, live in our studio.
Yeah, thank you very much. I think it's a very interesting idea and great pitch. One question that came to mind is obviously the research on how investors want to deploy their capital, but have you also taken into account the fact that an investment in your idea requires quite some time in order to start yielding? And is that a consideration that you've taken into account in speaking to investors?
Yeah, definitely. Yield are really important, and this is why we're using agroforestry, because we're not only growing trees that are taking time to produce, but also we're growing intercrops. So between the alleys of trees, we produce some plants that can generate revenue pretty quickly. And so this is a good way to generate revenue in a short term.
Nice, thank you. Are there other questions by the jury?
Oh, sorry. May I add also that carbon credits are also a good mechanism to generate revenue, because you can sell them ex ante, meaning like you can get the money before planting the trees, so you have some revenue before getting the trees into the ground.
So cash flow wise, you have upfront. Okay, that's a very good addition. Thank you.
A quick clarification, if I may ask. One of your slides mentioned the Green Deal. Is it the new European Green Deal, or do you use this terminology, or do you refer to this policy instrument?
We do not refer to the European Green Deal, but to the Moroccan one, which is basically the same.
Thank you.
Yes, Joost.
Also, I'm curious if you're targeting large landowners, or is it also applicable to smaller areas?
So my co-worker here, Wissal, co-founder and the magician of plants, is on the ground every day, and she's currently managing 20 hectares. We're currently looking to expand to more than 100 and then more than 1,000. But we would like to package our solution as kind of a franchise, so it will be applicable for small farmers. But first, we need to consolidate the business model before being able to go more into the retail perspective.
Thank you. One last quick question by the jury.
So you said you did 4 years of research. So where has that been? Where did you do this?
I'll take up on this one. So we've been doing our proof of concept on a land in a semi-arid area in the south of Morocco. It's the frontier between the Sahara Desert and actually the rest of the south of the country. We've been doing regenerative agriculture there for the last 4 years. We've been having amazing results, testing different guilds and of trees, different companion for trees, different intercroppings, different irrigation techniques, and based on those results, we already today put together our design that we are going to scale up in the months to come.
Wow, amazing. Wissal and Benjamin, very big thanks to you for answering the questions of our jury. Please stay tuned because after 7 you will hear more about the winner of this competition.
Definitely.
See you later.
Thank you, everyone. Just a hint for the jury member from Bank of America. We have a letter of intention from Société Générale who want to invest in SPV. If you want to do the same, feel free to contact us. We would be happy to discuss with you.
Nice subtitles. I will have to cut here. Thank you so much. And we'll see you back later. Bye.
Bye.
Oh, wow. That was a good first pitch. Let's head on to the next one. I think they will be present. Do we have the next one ready? The next pitch? Yes, FlexiWag.
Thank you for
the floor is yours.
In theory, extracting wave energy can satisfy 10% of the global electricity demand. However, it is just proved too expensive. That is, up until now. At Wave Conversion Partners, we want to change this by simplifying a proven design using a disruptive approach. Because the deal is very simple. We will convert wave energy into electricity and sell it to the national grid. In a few years' time, our electricity will cost around 10 cents per kilowatt hour, matching the price currently paid for fossil fuel energy. And ultimately, the price will be as low as 5 cents per kilowatt hour. Globally, wave energy conversion is a €200 billion market. Our target market is smaller, around 10 billion euros, as our devices need a certain type of nearshore location in order to operate. Our beachhead market is a subset, since first, we will target countries with high feed-in tariffs for wave energy, and secondly, we will target locations which require protection from coastal erosion, as an additional benefit of our devices is that we can help rebuild their beaches. Electricity produced by FlexiWEC is not only sustainable and pollution-free, but as I've mentioned, costs less than the fossil fuel energy does currently, meaning we can help countries reduce their oil and gas imports. Additionally, our devices can help protect beaches, reducing the energy from large waves, but also can be configured to fully optimize the constructive nature of small waves, pushing sand up the beach and helping to rebuild it. On a community level, our devices are out of sight, silent, take up very little space, and therefore can share coastal areas with other coastal activities. We also estimate that around 20,000 new jobs will be created globally in industries such as manufacturing, installation, and tourism, helping to deliver a big social impact. Wave energy converters typically involve large metallic structures with complex moving parts. They're expensive to build, they're expensive to maintain, and they're easily damaged by storms. Recently, simpler devices have reduced energy prices thanks to two innovations. Firstly, they sit on the sea floor away from the most destructive waves on the surface. And secondly, instead of complex metallic moving parts, they use simple flexible membranes to capture pressure variations. We take things one step further. We no longer need to install large metallic structures on the seabed. Instead, we embed our membranes within the seabed where they can be fully protected during storms. The result is that we can produce electricity that is twice as cheap as even the most efficient wave energy converters on the market today. For electricity, things are simple. Electricity is a well-defined product and feed-in tariffs are decided by policymakers. Further, interviews with technical experts have helped inform our design and ensure its viability. At the local level, we found that councils do not want anything which will spoil the natural look of the beach or prevent recreational use, which by design, FlexiWEC will not. Additionally, councils are actively seeking new beach protection measures that are more sustainable and eco-friendly, and this could be a complementary market for us in the future. In 5 years' time, we aim to be at 1% of our 15-year target, generating around 100 million euros in revenue each year by producing and selling 1,250 gigawatt hours of electricity per year. This is driven primarily by product cost, feed-in tariffs for the grid, and the cost of connecting to the grid. According to the IPCC, ocean energy is the cleanest form of energy generation, generating 97% less CO2 than burning natural gas. Our lightweight solution takes this one step further and seeing a 99% reduction in emissions. Why though do we compare with natural gas? The grid needs to balance intermittent sources such as wind and solar with continuous inputs like fossil fuels, and we propose ocean energy as the alternative continuous input. Ultimately, our goal is to remove 50 million tonnes of CO2 from the global annual emissions base in the next 15 years. Additionally, by removing energy from the waves, we make them less destructive to the coastline and can actually help rebuild the world's beaches. Our dream is simple. Waves can generate electricity and waves can rebuild beaches. So let's make it happen. Thank you for listening.
That is a nice dream. Let's make it happen. Thank you for joining us here live in the studio. First question, Svanette, do you have?
All right, thank you very much for your presentation. Very ambitious plan. We listened to the idea. Did you anything already construct? So is there anything already tested or is it still on idea phase now?
Yes, sure. Thomas, maybe you want to share a couple of pictures, if that's possible. Yeah, we've been prototyping the idea for 18 months. First in a test tank, and then about once a month we go to the beach and dig holes and install our flexible devices. They sink under the sand as a fish would do by wiggling, and then they emerge whenever necessary, and most importantly, they hide during storms.
Okay. So this is what we see. This is your prototype. Wow, amazing.
Yes, and at the bottom right, you would see one of the bags, and the bottom left, what's happening when we are sinking them under the sand using pressurized water and compressed air.
Nice. Okay, thank you very much. And who do you see as your main investors?
Our main investors to begin with probably business angels at this stage, and then hopefully in 1 or 2 years VCs.
Okay, good. Yes, Sjoerd.
So with wave energy, I think there's the correlation between waves and wind. Does that affect the prices? Is it the case that when there's more wind, there's more waves, and therefore there's also more wind energy, and therefore the prices at which you can sell it to the grid are lower? Or is there a hedge versus wind and waves?
Yes, there's definitely an edge. The correlation is actually not very strong, surprisingly, especially because the interesting waves come from afar. They are generated a few thousand kilometers away. So the correlation is actually not very strong. And ultimately, if we're going to balance the grid, solar and wind are not going to be enough because they're too intermittent. So the only other solutions are either fossil fuels or nuclear or wave energy. That's why I think so many people are trying to get it right with wave energy, because we, at the end of the day, need to balance the grid.
Nice. One quick question. Do you have one?
Yeah, so how long do you think it takes to be climate neutral? So you have installation costs, material costs. How long does it have to operate to...
I would say a few minutes.
For production costs as well. Is it 5 years or?
Because as opposed to other solutions with waste a few hundred tons, our solution is just a few tons of material. So our carbon impact is very, very, very small as compared to the amount of energy that can be generated and the amount of CO2 that can be saved by not using fossil fuels. So it's really very, very small.
Okay, thank you. Matter of minutes, Joost. Where can we sign? Thank you so much. We'll see you later.
Thank you.
Let's continue to our third pitch. I think they will be, yes, there they are. Sustainable packaging by Eslip.
Have you ever thought that durability of packaging is hundreds of years when the products in it might be in use just for a few minutes? For example, polystyrene. Every single unit that was ever produced out of it still remains somewhere on the landfills. And even worse, it pollutes air, soil, oceans, and even our bodies. My name is Julia. I'm CEO and co-founder of Eslip. In Eslip, we produce sustainable packaging using only 2 plant-based components, which are hemp and mushroom roots. We sell natural replacement of polystyrene packaging to the producers of beauty and self-care products for €1 per piece on average. We already have 10 recurring customers that bring us up to €3,000 of MRR. And we were able to work on the pilot projects with such big cosmetics brands as L'Oreal and Medic 8. Our beachhead market is producers of the natural cosmetics and self-care in 6 countries. We started with Ukraine, where we gained our first early adopters, and now expanding to 5 more countries in Europe that are the biggest producers of the natural beauty and self-care products. We estimated market of packaging for this segment, assuming that 1% of revenue is spent on the packaging. Eslip packaging is 100% biodegradable. After the usage, it can be thrown with the rest of the garbage or food compost and will fully disappear in just 30 days. On top of that, it is thermally insulating and repels water. So it has the same features as polystyrene, has the same price, but it will never end up on the landfills. Once mushroom root is mixed with hemp, it starts to bind or to glue everything together, and we get a very strong and reliable material. Currently, we are building an automated production line that will serve 2 goals. 1, to produce packaging, and 2nd, to further scale to the mini factories that will be placed in the 40-foot containers. Our packaging has application in other industries, like lodgements for electronics, thermal insulating boxes for pharmaceutics and food, boxes of clothes, shoes, toys, and other. And our technology allows us to have other types of materials in our pipeline, like mushroom board, cardboard, foam, leather, and other. So this means that we can replace not only polystyrene, but other harmful packaging materials. We already have 10 customers that order packaging on a monthly basis. And additionally to that, we spoke with 20 more producers of beauty in Ukraine and 10 in European Union. Our key assumption was that price is the most critical factor, but it appeared that customers are looking for a combination of properties, price, and sustainability in the materials. And our key takeaway from this discovery is that we should focus not on the whole beauty market, but on a segment where the natural ingredients are used. We sell one packaging unit for €1 on average, with 52% of margin. With only 50% of beachhead market, we will reach 6 million of profit in year 5, and we know how to do that. Production of polystyrene leads to the significant CO2 emissions and water usage. It is 12 million tons of CO2 emissions and 24 million liters of water. And 30% of landfills are covered with the polystyrene. Eslip packaging needs 80% less water and leads to 80% less CO2 emissions. And as for the landfills, it will just never get there. And even better, if our packaging is thrown into the soil, it will fertilize it. Our core team consists of 4 people. Eugene and me are 2 co-founders, and I have experience in both biotechnology and team management. And Eugene is expert in manufacturing and hardware technologies. We aim to replace polystyrene and reach 6 million profit with the beachhead market in year 5. And the main thing is that all of us are united with a mission to make sure that a truly good packaging is produced and distributed to every location of the world. Thank you very much. I'm Julia from Eslip.
Welcome back, Julia. Thank you for your presentation.
Hey, everyone.
Joost, do you have a first question for Julia?
Yeah, I'm interested in the technology and how you protected it. So is it on the material or more on the production side?
Yeah, so as for the material, unfortunately, we cannot patent it because that's how the mushrooms are grown in the nature. So basically, this is a natural process, but we are filing 6 patents for the technology itself. So 5 patents for different parts of the technology, and then 6 patents for the whole method of production at the industrial scale. And also we are filing 1 more patent for the thermal insulating boxes that we created. So yeah, we are protecting it with the IP.
And maybe a quick one, can you, how do you compare to polystyrene in terms of price for a typical package in the beauty industry?
As for the custom created and designed packaging, we are at the same price level as polystyrene.
Okay, thanks.
Sjoerd?
Yeah, I think it's impressive to see that you managed to achieve a 52% gross margin on the sales you do today. At the same time, I saw that one of the key inputs going into those financial projections is the cost of raw materials. With the impressive plan that you showed in the years to come, do you believe, I mean, is the market deep enough for mushrooms, I'm sure, but for hemp as well to fulfill your customer orders at this admirable gross margin level?
Yep, as for the mushrooms, we use mycelium and we cultivate it in our own laboratory. So we are not buying it from somewhere or sourcing, we are just cultivating it all the time. Okay. And as for the hemp, well, in Ukraine, we have contract with the biggest producer of hemp. And it's like, it will be enough for us in the next 5 years. But also, we are now looking for suppliers in Europe. And we know that France is the biggest producer of hemp. So we are also conducting the contracts there, and we'll be working with Spain suppliers and suppliers from Denmark. So we are like looking into the market of hemp, of course, and also hemp fields, they grow 150% every year. So, and we don't use the whole plant of the hemp, we use only stem. It usually remains as the waste on the field. So basically no one is competing for the stems with us. So this is also one key factor that it will be always enough of the raw material for us. And even if something happens tomorrow with hemp, we can use another plant like corn stems or wheat stems. So like basically any other agricultural waste would be suitable for us.
Amazing. Very quick question with 1 sentence answer.
Right. And do you plan to keep your production centrally in one country in Europe? Or how do you want to scale up?
Sorry, I didn't hear the question because camera went
Do you
somewhere.
plan to keep your production units centrally on one place? So then
Um,
transport is going to be an issue, right?
Yeah, we are actually planning to optimize our technology and put it into the 40-foot containers. And then those containers will be shipped and deployed at the customer's premises, and that's where packaging will be produced. So yeah, we'll have one unit to produce packaging, but this unit will serve our goal to scale further to those mini factories in the 40-foot containers. So basically, soon we will be selling not the packaging itself, but the technology.
Okay, that is interesting. Thank you so much. We'll see you back later.
Thank you very much.
I think it's about time for our fourth pitch already. There they are, 2D membranes. The floor is yours.
Hello everyone. I'm pretty sure you know about Climeworks and their pioneering efforts in carbon reduction. They are capturing the CO2 that is already in the atmosphere, but we can improve upon that and support them by capturing the CO2 at the source of emission before it reaches the environment. We are bringing to you a disruptive, energy-efficient CO2 separation technology that finally makes the carbon capture a viable option. This is Mojtaba, CEO and one of the co-founders of 2D Membranes. Switzerland is committed to the net zero emission by 2050. There are many paths towards carbon reduction suitable for different scales. For industrial CO2 emissions, I have three more answers: carbon capture, and carbon capture. We sell energy-efficient carbon capture units to companies with high CO2 emission to comply with the new carbon emission regulations at the price of 10 million euro for a typical 50 kiloton CO2 per year carbon capture unit. We are a B2B business with Switzerland as the beachhead market due to the geographical closeness and aggressive carbon reduction goals, with a plan to expand to the 1.2 trillion euro global market later. Big industrial CO2 emitters such as cement, steel, gas, waste to energy, and paper companies are our clients with a huge existing interest. Due to our membrane-based solvent-free technology, we bring forward an innovative process eliminating the high energy consumption of solvent-based conventional units. By doing so, our clients save 4.2 million euro per year utilizing our 50 kiloton CO2 per year capture unit compared to paying the constantly rising carbon tax of their CO2 emissions. 2 million euro more savings compared to the conventional units. What do we exactly offer? A graphene membrane-based carbon capture unit to separate CO2 from other gases right at the source of emission, like flue gas chimneys. We can adjust the captured CO2 purity so it can be either sold to the local buyers for direct use or converted to other value-added products. We have 5 recent patents protecting the core of our technology, which are incorporation of selective pores in the graphene layer and mechanically supporting this layer in our membrane module. We interviewed a heterogeneous pool of big industrial CO2 emitters and carbon emission regulation and gas separation experts. Currently, there are no carbon capture units installed in our beachhead market. However, there is a tremendous interest and an urgent need from clients such as Gaznat, Tridel, Steeltech, and Swiss Quality Paper, to name a few. Gaznat has already supported the fundamental development of our technology at EPFL University and is interested to help us bring our solution to the market. The deciding factor for clients in selecting a solution is its cost and energy efficiency. Capturing 40% of our beachhead market brings a profit of 120 million euro per year, considering the product cost of about 5 and sell price of 10 million euro. Clients will have their return on investment in 2 to 3 years. The product cost includes the maintenance cost of the product. Not only 3.8 million tons CO2 per year will be saved from entering the atmosphere, our technology uses about 60% less energy to do that compared to the solvent-based conventional units, resulting in an even higher climate impact. We are a spin-off of EPFL University, PhDs and scientists bringing our innovative solution to the market with the help of legal and business expert team members. 40 students at EPFL, supervised by 5 professors and 6 more scientists led by Professor Akroval, who is the world leader of graphene-based gas separation, are actively working on advancing our technology, which will ensure maintaining our superior performance in future too. I know that we sound like techie geeks for now, but thanks to the Climate Launchpad, we are learning more about the business side to become an entrepreneur raise money, build a diverse team, and put our innovation on its path to the market. We dream to achieve a valuation of 600 million euro in 5 years while becoming the dominant carbon capture solution in Switzerland. And by going global, we desire to have a significant impact on climate change. On behalf of 2D Membranes team, I thank you for your attention and remind you of my 3 efficient answers to post-combustion CO2 emissions: carbon capture, and carbon capture.
Thank you and welcome here in the studio. You might have a first question for.
Thank you for the presentation. I would push you on the policy and social elements. So what is the current approach? How would you penetrate that sector? How do you engage citizens?
Sorry, could you repeat the question? I didn't totally get the question.
Yeah, so my question is about how you approach policy and lobbying, and what's your network strength in that regard. And the other one is as a tangent is really the social impact, and how do you socialize this idea with citizens?
Yes, thank you very much for the question. Just before answering, I just want to also mention that I don't know what happened with our pitch. The aspect ratio was right, and the quality was the aspect ratio was wrong. Also, with the quality, it was fine in the morning. I don't know what happened. I apologize for that. But yeah, regarding the lobbying power and the connections, actually in Switzerland, we are already having the legislations and the goal that they're putting for 2050, and by 2030 there are intermediate steps that big industrial CO2 emitters they have to comply with. We already have, with the interviews that we had, for example, with a very small paper company that they only produced 11 kilotons CO2 per year. They're already paying, last year they paid more than 1 million euro just for their CO2 certificates. So based on that, it's already in the process. So we don't really have to do anything for that. It's already going for that. And if you know about the policies also, they're going to put the cap, and it won't be more like a no bond kind of carbon bond for the market. So now they can't just sell whatever to the companies. It will be more difficult for them in Europe to sell the amount of CO2 that they are not producing, that the cap they have, and the new companies, they have to actually buy it, the one that they're producing more than that. They can't just buy it from the other companies. So actually, we don't really have to do anything for this, as it's a huge issue, global issue. So Europe and Switzerland is already doing that for us.
One quick last question, because your time is already up.
Yeah, so I saw your beachhead market was going to be large industry. Is that feasible, and can you start at smaller scale?
We can start in a smaller scale because it just depends on the scale of the membrane that we are making. But yeah, we're starting from Switzerland because we have a big cement industry and we're already in touch with them. They're very interested. But we also have the gas companies, for example, Gasnat. They're already supporting us. And we have a letter of intent from Tridel, which is a small waste to energy plant in Lausanne in Switzerland. So we can start small too, but we are also ready for big industries.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you so much to the Membranes. We'll see you back later.
Thank you so much.
So sorry, but we have to cut you short, right? Because 3 minutes is up in no time. But we're already halfway. So we have 4 more pitches to go. And the floor is for Fibe. Let's listen to them.
This thing on the screen is made out of potato stems. This is our game-changing solution to the growing emissions of the fashion industry and the increasing pressures on our world's food production systems. Today, I'll be presenting our new venture, Fibe, specifically how we, along with multinational fashion brands and leading researchers, are developing the world's most sustainable textiles. The deal is fairly simple. We sell our fibers to fashion brands and their associated manufacturers who convert them into garments and accessories. Once optimized, we aim to sell our fibers for around 1,500 euros per ton, similar to cotton and polyester, which make up the majority of the industry's emissions. We purchase the otherwise useless stems from potato farmers and transfer it to our factories. Together, we have a business that provides farmers with new income streams, creates accessible, sustainable options for the fashion industry, all while promoting food farming. we've identified our beachhead market as supplying the non-synthetic fibers for major outdoor brands, specifically for their casual wear lines, which require less stringent performance requirements from our textiles. Working with major outdoor brands is a perfect starting point, as they have the funds and the incentive to take risks on novel sustainable materials such as ourselves. The market is worth around 27.8 million euros, of which we hope to grab at least 20% within our 4th year. Working with this beachhead also acts as a pilot for the rest of the industry, allowing us to easily expand to the biggest polluters fast fashion within our 5th year. We believe Five is the most attractive proposition on the market for 3 reasons. Firstly, our product's genuine sustainability outperforms cotton and polyester, and enables fashion companies to meet their CO2 emission targets faster than other eco-fibers such as hemp. Secondly, our material is similarly priced to cotton and is far cheaper than leading upcoming eco-textiles. Finally, we believe Five has a highly marketable story behind it. We showed members of the public a t-shirt made from mock fibre and found on average they are willing to pay 40% more than the original value of the t-shirt. Simply put, our product is textile fibres extracted from potato stems. Potato stems cannot be fed to livestock and are risky to compost due to being poisonous and susceptible to blight respectively. This leads to around 254 million tons of it being discarded each year around the world. This is enough to supply 60% of the world's clothing. To get the fibers from this huge, inexpensive waste stream, we apply our cutting-edge biological and mechanical process, but only waste here is fertilizer. By prototyping this method and producing spun and woven samples, we have validated it as zero waste, scalable, and creates durable, soft, and antimicrobial textile fibers. Over the last weeks, we have spoken to various brands, manufacturers, and experts to understand our market. The fashion supply chain is incredibly complex, and so one of our main aims was to verify we have chosen the right beachhead. We confirmed that major outdoor brands such as Patagonia and the North Face will be our key partners to enter the market, as they have the incentive to incorporate novel materials. Due to their more expensive product lines, they have the ability to work with higher priced materials, which is vital in our first years in the market. As proof of industry's interest, we have already signed an NDA with a major brand in our market to pave the way for future collaborations. Year 5 of the beachhead market will see Five make profits over 1 million with 5.6 million in revenue. Our ability to make these profits is based on the order size of each of our fashion partners. It is also highly based on our ability to reduce the cost of our processing so that our material is competitively priced. Finally, it is affected by market share we can obtain through effective sales and marketing, which we identify to be a major expense for us. Sustainability has been the key driver behind our innovation. Although we work with a waste stream, the crop in itself outperforms cotton, using 90% less land, 96% less water, and saving 94% CO2 equivalent compared to polyester. As well as being sustainably processed, the extracted fibers are biodegradable and can be recycled. When we reach 20% of the beachhead market, we'll save enough land to feed 16,400 people for a year and 81,000 tons of CO2 equivalent. Our impact scales hugely once we address fast fashion companies. Supplying just 1% of the industry will reduce CO2 emissions by 40 million tons without compromising user experience or garment quality. Five is made out of 4 multidisciplinary design engineering students coming out of Imperial College London. The project began as a university submission, but our ambition to solve the environmental challenges of agriculture and fashion has motivated us to develop this into an enterprise following our graduation. We have a dream to create the world's most sustainable textile and one day bump into people wearing it on the street. We hope this project can spark a career of social entrepreneurship for all of us. Over the next few months, we'll be rolling out our plans to create our first high-fidelity prototype. We would welcome any advice on lab spaces, suitable grants, and connections to industry or farming partners. Thank you for listening. We'd be happy to answer any questions.
Well, thank you and welcome in the studio. Sjoerd, do you have a first question?
Yeah, certainly. Thank you for a great pitch. I think my question was related to your choice to sell the fiber to brands rather than producing your own product and putting that out to consumers, especially given the comment that was in the pitch that consumers are willing to pay 40% more for your product. Why give up that ability to price and the direct connection with the consumer?
Well, there's 2 reasons for this. The first one is impact that we want to achieve. So in order to reach the biggest market possible, it's better for us to work with the larger brands. And the second answer to that is actually the logistics of it. So in order to actually produce a fiber or the clothing for it, you're going to need to work with the manufacturers. And to convince mills to actually change over to your materials, you'll need to have massive throughput, which is why working with these larger fashion brands, these major outdoor fashion brands, are the only companies that really have the power to really get our novel materials into market. So at first, we want to partner with brands, but eventually in the future, there is a possibility to expand the supply chain and do more things in-house. But for now, to have the biggest impact possible, we'll be working with brands directly.
Thank you. Another question.
Do you see
Jona.
do you see the appetite from these fast fashion brands? That would be the next step for your material.
Yeah, I mean, absolutely, and it's a great question. So we've seen H&M commit $350 million to changing over their materials to sustainable options. Zara alone just bought a sustainable textile company for $100 million. And in our short time when we've been working on this project, just a matter of a couple of months, we've managed to already secure an NDA with a major outdoor fashion brand. And that should pave the way for future collaborations going forward.
This leads me to another follow-up question, which is how is the competitor landscape according to your research?
So there's a lot of companies rushing into this space because there's a massive appetite for sustainable options. So one of the big difference between us and most competitors is that we don't actually grow our own material. We take a waste stream from it. So unlike, there's options with potato, options with hemp, that's very common at the moment. We don't actually need to grow anything. Potatoes are the 5th most grown crop in the world. So what's big difference between us is we essentially have a massive supply chain we can easily expand to.
Thank you. One last question.
I think I might have saw it wrong, but you said there's a market size of 28 million. Is that a small beachhead market? Because I imagine it would be much larger.
Yeah, the market is much larger than this. This is specifically for a beachhead market, which is supplying non-synthetic fibers. So changing over from cotton to our material just for major outdoor fashion brands. Then moving on to major brands, we're talking about the hundreds of millions. The fashion industry is worth, in terms of textiles alone, $1 trillion worldwide. So there's massive room for expand to us. We just identified that major outdoor fashion brands have the need for our material the most because they have a customer base that's most receptive to sustainable options.
Amazing. Thank you so much. We'll see you back later.
Thank you so much. Bye.
Bye. So we're going to head on. We had potatoes and fungi and waves and wow, amazing. So much innovation. The next pitch, sustainable mobility. Bring it up, please.
Hello, everyone. I am Alex, and I'm going to speak about sustainable maritime mobility. Relative to other means of transportation, maritime mobility has fallen behind in the energy transition. This is particularly true for small and artisanal professionals who have no economically viable solution to decarbonize their operations. Developments to date have been focused on innovative technologies that lack the local availability, the economies of scale, and the maturity needed for small operators. And that's where we come in. Our deal is simple and straightforward. We sell engine conversions to professional ship operators, taking them from fossil fuel combustion to hydrogen gas combustion for 19,500 euros per engine. We also provide maintenance services for 490 euros per engine per year, generating recurring revenue and reinforcing our business model. Our beachhead market is professional oyster farmers and fisherfolk in the Aquitaine region of France. There are local subsidies for these professionals to decarbonize their operations, as well as for the development of hydrogen infrastructure, making it an ideal ecosystem for HIAM's launch. We've already obtained 2 letters of interest, 4 sponsorships from municipalities, and we're in discussions with the local trade union demonstrating strong interest in our offer. Nonetheless, we can and will expand our offer to include boating, transport, and tourism operators throughout countries where carbon taxes and fossil fuel regulations incentivize emissions reductions. For ship operators in all our target markets, our solution is simply the quickest, the easiest, the cheapest way to drop carbon emissions to zero, period. This comparison of engine and maintenance costs over a 10-year period highlights the advantage of hydrogen combustion over currently available alternatives. This economic advantage holds true even when you account for fuel and storage systems. Suffice it to say, in comparison with electric batteries and hydrogen fuel cells, ship operators no longer need to make significant changes to their ships, their assets, their operations, nor do they need to wait years for an economically viable solution to arrive. Simply said, what we offer is a technology they master that respects the environment from which they earn their living at a price point that they already pay today. This is possible because our conversion is equivalent to standard engine maintenance. Based on a patented French technology, we simply swap out a limited number of parts from the engine and the fuel injection system to make them compatible with burning hydrogen gas. Thanks to the simplicity of this operation, we can convert boat engines to go green in a day. But not just any day, tomorrow, as our technology has already passed qualification testing and is scheduled for first vehicle integration this year. To date, we've conducted more than 20 interviews with stakeholders throughout our value chain. And what we discovered was that oyster farmers in Aquitaine are mindful of climate change and have been experimenting with electric mobility technologies since 2015 for that very reason. The feedback we got was fourfold and unanimous. Electric is just too expensive, doesn't provide enough range, it doesn't provide enough power, and it's too unfamiliar as a technology. It was this customer feedback combined with perceived operational risks that drove us towards hydrogen gas combustion as a solution to begin with. In year 5, our financial projection is 1.6 million euros in annual profits from our beachhead market and the conversion of 2,250 engines. Our key drivers are our selling price, our cost to build, and our ability to capture market share. Hopefully, you already have a sense for the potential scale of impact of our solution. It can provide total decarbonization for ships across the globe wherever green hydrogen is available. Our initial calculations indicate our beachhead market alone can save up to 27,000 tons of CO2 equivalents per year. And if we look at individual motors, each conversion is equivalent to taking at least 3 cars off the road. With my buddy Hervé, our dream is to help maritime communities worldwide, like the ones that we grew up in, establish a new balance with their ecosystems by converting at least 2,000 engines before 2027. To do so, we've already partnered with established actors in marine operations and hydrogen delivery. And together, I am making maritime mobility sustainable, not by 2050 or by 2030, but by tomorrow. And with that said, I thank you all for your time and your attention.
Let's go to the jury. Do you have a question maybe,
Yes.
Sanette?
Thank you for your presentation, very interesting. Just asking, so your assumption on this new product will be that there will be enough green hydrogen available, correct?
That is correct, yeah.
So how is that assumption true or false?
So we're ensuring the supply for our initial operations. We partnered with local hydrogen infrastructure developers to make sure that our first users have access to hydrogen. Beyond that, that's a question of strategic choice as far as where we decide to implant ourselves for further expansion. So it's kind of a twofold selection process. One, we have to target areas where they are developing green hydrogen. And two, we have to target, say, users that are receptive to not only the economics, but also the environmental impact of making the switch. Does that answer your question?
Yes, thank you.
Yes, Joost, please.
Yeah, maybe. So how does the 2 questions, how does the 20,000 compare to the price of a new engine? And how long does it take for a boat operator to make the investment back?
So the investment, so let's see if we can jump ahead, is basically a standard investment for a boat operator. The price point that we're selling our retrofit at is equivalent to effectively purchasing a used engine. So there's no differentiator in terms of the price point. And then regarding the ability to make back that investment, well, it's highly dependent on the evolution of the price of hydrogen and the current fuel alternative gasoline. So if we look at the projections that I'm sharing on the screen, the first 3 lines correspond to the evolution of the price of hydrogen as a fuel supply. And you'll find that the current alternative internal combustion engine for professionals is the second to last line. And we're already price competitive if we look at the cost of ownership over a 10-year period. Unfortunately, due to the conflict in Eastern Europe, but that trend is something that would remain true in time even without that conflict, which is to say the price of gas will increase and the price of hydrogen will decrease.
Thank you. Did you have a second question? Did you already?
I could have another one, but
Sjoerd's also like sitting front
I'll
row.
be shy.
Like. One last question, Sjoerd.
Well, I saw pictures of various sizes of boats throughout the presentation. Is there a certain specific engine or maximum size engine that you target, or are you able to convert any combustion engine of any strength and for any boat size to hydrogen?
Yeah. So there's the theory and the practice. In theory, yes, we can convert any internal combustion engine, whether that's for boats, cars, generators, aircrafts, what have you. Ours is a strategic choice to target the maritime sector because, as I mentioned during the pitch, we consider it to be largely neglected by equipment developers. As far as the niche of ships that we're looking at, for, again, more so strategic reasons than anything else, we're looking at outboard motors, which can go up to a few hundred horsepower, 3, 4, and that's more so because of the capex required to do the technical development and demonstrators that we're planning on doing. That said, our commercial development, if I can...
You have 2 seconds left.
Yeah, our roadmap does include expanding into inboard engines, which can go up to 500 horsepower.
Perfect. Thank you. That was a quick
you so
final
much.
answer. Thank you. We'll see you later. So jury, keep a fresh head because there's only 2 more pitches to go after you will start your deliberation process. And here is US Clean Air. The floor is yours.
Hello everyone. Do you know that every year around 7 million people die because of poor air quality and that we spend 90% of our time indoor? The air we breathe every day must be cleaned and safe for the sake of our health and environment, and consequently of the global economics. We have the solution to create indoor spaces free from pollution and contamination. APA technology, which stands for Air Pollution Abatement, is a nature-based patented innovation that cleans the ambient air without the use of filters, only with simple waters and mechanical processes. At Clean Air, we pursue the development, intellectual property rights transfer, industrialization and commercialization of APA technology. With our latest project, we aim at integrating APA technology into the HVAC systems of the buildings. We offer the APA integration to the buildings owners who want to make the ambient air of their buildings safer, cleaner and contamination-free. The price of a single installation that can set 1 air treatment unit is 33,000 euros. We are already present in the air pollution control market, in the indoor air purification market, and in the COVID-19 detection market with our solutions. With the new applicability of APA, we can also penetrate into the HVAC systems market. In 10 years, such market will reach more than $200 billion value. We have identified our beachhead market in the industrial buildings in Italy. In the coming years, we will be able to expand our presence, penetrating in other segments and in other regions. We reduce the cost of particulate matter abatement by more than 20 euros per gram compared to our competitors. Building owners will save money while creating healthier and safer places by delivering better air quality. The technology integration into the HVAC systems will also allow our customers to reduce cost of maintenance and will make the buildings more energy efficient. APA indeed does not require constant physical intervention and does not reduce its efficiency over time, like filters do, which get clogged and have to be disposed as special waste. We offer a nature-based and filterless technology, which uses only water, is 100% sustainable, versatile, and able to operate both indoor and outdoor. APA can simultaneously remove the widest range of harmful pollutants, chemicals, gaseous particles, as well as detect and remove viruses and bacteria. We already have other solutions such as the flower pot, a standalone device for interiors that can clean spaces such as offices, and panels and totems for industrial and urban applications. According to the World Health Organization, 9 people out of 10 breathe unsafe air, and this causes big damages to people, environment, and economics. The cost of inaction accounts for $5 trillion per year. The common problems of building owners are related to the quality of the air and the efficiency of the HVAC systems from an environmental and economical point of view. APA can benefit our customers because it makes living and working spaces cleaner, safer, and more productive, while reducing costs and improving energy efficiency. In terms of financials, we can assume that in 5 years, with 10% of our beachhead market, we will be able to install around 11,000 APA integrations in the air treatment units, considering that an average building may need 3 units and the life of the product can reach 15 years. Our profit will be around 160 million euros. For what concerns climate impact, APA can save 6 million tons of CO2 per year. APA can abate 20% of CO2 directly from the process of cleaning the air, and its implementation in the HVAC systems will allow a further reduction of CO2 emissions by 25%, thanks to the reduction of energy consumption, unlike filters, which get clogged, require more energy, and therefore emit more CO2. Our team is focusing every day on the technology implementation and development. It is composed by managers and engineers with more than 20 years of experience, working together to concretely reduce climate change impacts. Our dream is to have clean air for everyone, everywhere. Thank you.
Studio. Do we have a first question? Joost.
Yes, so if I understand correctly, you are doing the installations yourself. Is that also how you hope to scale to the 20,000 installations a year, or do you have another plan for that?
No, we have a very little plan here in Italy, and in this plan we are protecting our core technology, which is called deposition stack. Is the core technology which allows us to use only water and no filters, and this is the secret of the technology. But our business model is based on the collaboration with industrial partner, with a very big manufacturing partner, in order to scale up in the next 3-5 years for 2,000 units per year. So we have this kind of business model based on partnership with industrial partner to scale up and produce a lot of units.
Thank you. Yes, Ilona.
How much water use per unit do you estimate?
It depends, because we have some solution at TRL 9, and this kind of solution we are using for industrial and factories who has a lot of emission, big emission CO2 and so on. And these are the biggest one, and they use about 50 liters a week. But for HVAC system and indoor interior design system is about 2 liters per day, and are very, very small. And for the HVAC system, I think 1 liter a day, because they are very small.
Thank you.
Thank you. Sjoerd.
I think you said your target market is now to target on Italian industrial complexes. Have you done any measurement of demand for your solution in those complexes? And maybe tied to that is, do you think there will also be demand for residential properties?
Yeah. We are doing a lot of sensitivity and market analysis also with third independent party, with a lot of experts in this area. And the industrial sector is estimated to have, in the next 4 days, a growth of 50%, also based on Green Deal, air pollution abatement agreement from European Commission, net zero air pollution building, also based on European Commission laws. And we estimated a growth amount in industrial sector, because the standards are changing, and also they have to have a low emission in terms of CO2 and other pollutants. And for the real estate market and the building market, also we estimated growth demand in the market, because especially after COVID-19. They are focusing the attention on good air quality in buildings, also for private and public offices, for employees and hotels and hospitals too. And so the demand is growing, and the real estate could be another very profitable market for us.
Thank you very much. We will see you later, and I think we are going to head on to the last pitch of today. So I think they will pop up on the screen right now. Aricare, the floor is yours.
Hi, my name is Marilyn. I'm the co-founder and CEO of Aricare. We believe that we need to radically shift the way we produce and use everyday products, and this became our mission with Ari. Currently, most organic products are way more expensive than conventional products. And with Ari, we want to change that. Ari is about manufacturing body care and cleaning products in a fully sustainable but also cost-efficient way. Our deal is providing high-quality white label service to the B2B clients and the hospitality industry with 50% cheaper price than any current competitor in the market. So we can do this by only selling the active ingredients and completely innovating the production process. We can also provide free dispensers and still have a healthy 350% markup. Our beachhead market is the European hospitality market. So this is easiest to enter due to the locally recognized eco certifications, efficient logistics, as well as the growing demand for locally produced sustainable products. We want to make organic affordable. Our key value is the high quality organic product, but the sweetest selling point is price. We can sell our product 50% cheaper due to the unique production process that is 75% shorter and therefore incredibly cost effective. We can also create custom scents and personalize the formulas for specific clients. Our main innovation is the patented custom machinery that allows us to manufacture body care and cleaning products without water. To make those products usable, water will be added by the client at the place of consumption. Together with the local scientists, we have already created 4 different formulas for hand and body wash, and we're currently conducting pilot sales of Ari branded refillable products in our home market in Estonia. The hospitality industry is currently under pressure to become both environmentally and financially sustainable. Through our user interviews, we found out that for 90% of clients, price is a decisive factor. And with Ari, we can tick both boxes, providing green credentials as well as cost reduction. We have already gathered interest by large distributors, as well as received an order for 10 tons of product from a B2B client, which is worth 450,000 euros. As you can see from our financials, we only need 37 hotels, or 0.02% of the European hospitality market, in order to reach the profit of 4 million. So this means we can organically and rapidly scale up with even initially small market share and small initial investment that helps us to set up our production line. Currently, most body care and cleaning products are made of up to 90% of water, and this has a massive environmental impact. Those products usually need to be packaged in a leak-proof, single-use plastic packaging, and shipping those water-heavy products creates massive CO2 emissions. So here you can see the impact of just 1 kilogram of Ari product and 1 kilogram of conventional product. The production capacity of just one of our machines per year is 100 tons. So you can multiply this with 100,000. Our team consists of 3 co-founders, and we all come in with diverse skills and expertise in business, design, marketing, logistics, and finance. And we're all very motivated and excited to join hands with investors, partners, and mentors to cut the CO2 emissions and unnecessary waste, and revolutionize the way we produce and use everyday products. Thank you so much for listening.
Well, thank you, Marilyn, and welcome here in the studio. There might be a question. Ilona, would you like to kick off?
So is this technology that you refer to, is this patented? And how does it differ from already available household products?
Very good question, thank you. So the custom machinery, it's not patented yet because we don't have the machine ready yet. As soon as we can kick off the production of the machine, we can also patent it. So it's going to be fully under RE-Care's IP. It differs from other cleaning products and body care products because we actually only sell the active ingredients in the powder form, which basically means that we don't add any water in the production and shipping phase, and the customer only gets the powder, and the tap water will be added by the customer. So it's a slightly different production method. I mean, it's a very different production method. This is our IP, but it's also slightly different for the user.
To my knowledge, this stands out in the hospitality industry, but some zero waste shops already have similar products available that have no water, that already have the active ingredient that is sold to customers. So how do you respond to that? How do you stand out in that regard?
It's actually a brilliant, it's a brilliant trend that it's actually happening in a more mainstream way, and we're very much welcoming that, because again, like our product or our IP is actually the technology and the machine. So there are more and more brands in the market who are creating powder and tap water, tablet and tap water, concentrate and tap water technologies. However, how we differentiate ourselves is because we figured out the way how to cut out major steps in the production process and make it 75% more effective, which basically means that we can really we can manufacture, first of all, big volumes. We can serve large customers, which is the hospitality industry and the B2B clients. And also we can do it in a very cost-efficient way. And this is what the other competitors, so to say, in the market are actually not doing at the moment. They're mostly using small laboratories or very small scale production, which means it will be harder for them to scale. And in fact, I'm just going to add that we talked with so-called competitor on the market, a Swedish brand, Borgo, and actually they want to become our customers because the way we can produce will be so much more cost efficient for them as well.
Oh, that's amazing. One last question of Sjoerd.
Yes, I couldn't help but noticing on your slide that you said that you can make 4 million of profit with only 37 hotels. So that comes to over 100K of profit per hotel just in personal care items that you sell to them at half the price of what they're spending currently. Can you just walk me through how that works? Because that feels like a very high number for so little hotels.
Yes. This is exactly down to our production process, which basically means that we can really cut down the cost what usually goes into production, and also we have cut down the ingredients. So if you look at the usual ingredient list of any personal care or cleaning product, it's usually 15, maybe 20 items in the list, and we actually, in the hand wash, we only have 6 items. And also we have cut out the heating process and dehydration process in the production phase, which means, again, our production is very, very cost efficient, which then enables us to sell the product on such a price. And our main message and our main mission is to really make sustainable affordable, because otherwise it's going to be a huge barrier for hospitality industry and B2B clients to become fully sustainable, and we really want to see that change happening.
Just one final question. What is the profit margin assumed on that 400 million, that 4 million?
At the moment, the profit margin is about 67%, and the markup is about 350%. So this is to take account when we actually have a machine and we can operate on full production capacity and serve large customers.
Okay,
perfect.
Thank you.
Thank you very much for that quick response.
Thank you.
So we had the 8 pitches, and this is going to be a tough job, jury.
Yes.
I'm so happy that I'm not part of your jury, because how can you choose from 8 such amazing startups, scale-ups that each in their own domain really have potential to scale and to make a real big impact. Good luck to you. You'll have like 25 minutes to deliberate all together. We will go to a short break, 5 minutes to get a coffee, toilet, water, whatever. And please be back in 5 minutes because we will have Tony Afori from Bank of America here with a live interview on stage. See you in a bit. Thank you. Hi everyone and welcome back. I hope you are refreshed. And while the jury is in deliberation about the top 3 of today, of this regional final today, we have a live connection with Tony Afori, Director of the Bank of America, live from London, I heard. Welcome in the studio. While your colleague is sweating and making the decision between the 8 pitches that we just heard here live in the studio, we will talk with you a little bit about your relationship also to EIT Climate-KIC and ClimateLaunchpad. Because why did Bank of America choose to collaborate and to participate in this beautiful program? First of all, welcome.
Can you all hear me?
We hear you loud and clear. Perfect.
Okay, fantastic. Thank you. And apologies I couldn't be there in person, but it sounds like it's a fantastic event so far. Yes. And I hope it keeps us going well. Firstly, I wanted to just say thank you for inviting me. I'm honoured to be part of this event today. As you mentioned, my name's Tony. I've been at Bank of America now for 11 years, and I'll kind of say a few words about the relationship we have with Climate-KIC and ClimateLaunchpad. I think Bank of America has been a proud supporter of Climate-KIC and ClimateLaunchpad for the last 2 years, and it's my pleasure to meet so many innovative people and organisations that I think have been invited here today. I mean, your commitment to addressing the tasks ahead are what I could say the 3 I's. Right? It's impressive, it's inspiring, and it's important. We all know that climate change is one of the most pressing issues of our time. Just a few stats, I'm sure all of you probably were already aware of this, but if you just increase the global temperature by 1.5 degrees from where we are today, more than 40% of the world's population might be directly affected as they live in regions which will be highly vulnerable to droughts, destructive heat waves, wildfires, and rising sea levels. To avoid this catastrophic change, climate experts around the world agree that we need to reach net zero by 2050, and I think what's increasingly clear is that achieving that will require the collective actions of governments, corporations, non-profits, and individuals such as yourselves. So that's why we help support you.
Oh, that's amazing. And how is Bank of America itself committing to that net zero ambition? Can you elaborate a bit?
It's an interesting question. Yeah, sure. No, it's an interesting question. I think we are a listed company, so we do a lot of reporting. But I think in terms of pointing out some of the key items, last year Bank of America announced a commitment to achieve net zero greenhouse gas emissions across our financing activities, supply chain and operations by 2050. Right? And this means that we will be recording and reporting our own greenhouse gas emissions and for ourselves and the client activity we do. Mm-hmm. And we've established a goal of mobilizing 1 trillion, okay, that's trillion with a T, right, in capital, by 2030 to accelerate this low carbon transition as part of our overall $1.5 trillion commitment to supporting the UN's SDGs.
That is, are you optimistic? Is this sounds like enormous numbers. We are, we have had quite some numbers already here on the floor, but are you?
Yeah. I mean, since 2007, we've already mobilized $350 billion towards this, and last year alone we did 150 billion. So we're working hard to try and achieve it. It's important to put ambitious targets out there, and we've done that, and we're committed to seeing if we can deliver on that. But it's a long road ahead, and we're going to be working hard to see if we can achieve that target.
Okay. We will keep following you and support you wherever possible. So
watch this space.
Yeah. So how is the role of banks in the evolving around the subject of climate change? Can you elaborate on that a bit?
Sure, happy to. Within the banking industry, Bank of America has been one of the global leaders in sustainable finance for more than a decade, right? And we are very aware of the importance of supporting socially responsible initiatives that seek to build a better future for all of us. And, we are in a time, as we all know, where the transition towards new economies and continuous evolution within the business sector is crucial. And we believe that supporting the promotion of innovative projects, companies and ideas such as the ones that have been invited here today, and sustainable development in general is crucial to contributing positively to economic growth in Europe. Okay? One other comment I'd make is that sustainability is at the core of all of our activities at Bank of America to position ourselves as a leading advocate for positive societal and environmental change through how we utilize our balance sheet, the money we deploy, the people and relationships that we have, and our partnership with Climate-KIC's accelerator program is a perfect example of this ambition.
Yeah, I can imagine. By the way, for the people listening and watching, if you have a good question then you can send it in live again with the QR code that is just below your screen, and then it will be broadcasted here live in our studio, and then I can transfer it to Tony. So please join us with some questions for Bank of America. Thank you. And how can we make climate financing work better? Because we're all climate innovators, disruptors, and we hear 54 amazing startups, scale-ups, and somehow there's also a lot of money that wants to be put into these amazing
channeled in your direction.
How?
Sure. Yeah, so just for background, I've obviously told you I've been at Bank of America for a while. I work in the Global Sustainable Finance Group, right? So it's something that's very close to my heart, both professionally and personally. And I think the transition to net zero is one of the greatest challenges of our time, right? I think I mentioned that at the beginning. I think all of us, should feel proud that we're stepping up to the challenge in our own unique way. And, we must work together. I think that's the key theme that I've encountered across many different conversations and organizations that I've spoken to, that it's collaborative, right? We need to work together to ensure that we're embarking on this journey together and include all members of society so that, communities and individuals aren't left behind. We have a kind of an ability to kind of reset how things have been going so far, and I think that when we do that, we've got to learn from the past and make sure that we do a better job in the future, right? Another thing I'd add as well is that encouraging innovation, which again is very relevant for today, and brilliant ideas is for fundamental responsibility of large corporations, right? So, we realize that the types of companies that are here today are kind of ones that may be leaders for the future, and it's important for us to embark upon those conversations early. Great ideas do change the world, but they can't do it on their own, and they need support and resources to become truly transformative. And this is why we must offer Bank of America, entrepreneurs the help and guidance that you need to use technology and innovation to make the transition towards a sustainable economy a reality.
Because how do you your bank? And then we have 8 themes presented today. Blue economy versus a circular economy, you name it, all the themes were here. How can you best judge what is what makes the best impact, what is technically a viable risk you can take as a bank? It's quite enormous, right? We have to invest enormous amounts of money, and then we also need to you have to calculate your risk also. How do you cope with that?
No. Absolutely. I think risk management is one of the key things that we do, as professionals within the bank. Yeah. But one thing I would say is that I think the event that we have today, the ClimateLaunchpad event. This is part of the filtering process that allows this organisation, this institution to select what they think are some of the better ideas, and those are then things that we can look to either collaborate with or finance in the future. In terms of the sort of activities we're doing, I'd point out, for example, that we've recently embarked on a groundbreaking partnership with the University of Oxford to help combat climate change, pledging 1.2 million to support greenhouse gas and sustainable finance research at the Smith School of Enterprise and Environment. Right, and that's like a facilitation mechanism for organisations such as this to help, if you like, refine ideas and make sure the best ones really do float to the top.
Ah, that's amazing. So it's collaborating also. Do you also have good collaborations, like structural collaboration with other financing organizations, funds, or?
Yeah, I point to kind of a personal experience I've had. So I've been at Bank of America now for 11 years, but I recently was on secondment for 2 years at the Sustainable Markets Initiative, which is an organization started up by Prince Charles, now King Charles III, to help kind of combat climate change and, if you like, facilitate the race to net zero. So, that organization was co-chaired by Prince Charles and our CEO, Brian Moynihan. And that's a classic example of, Bank of America leaning in to try and make sure that they, do things of tangible substance to help the wider discussion and the wider need for tangible change that is so often talked about.
Nice, amazing. It's the reason I'm asking. I'm part of the National Green Fund, and we also invest, but it's also senior and junior cooperation with bigger streams of money, of course, because you need to find ways of taking risks together, and then you all have to play your own role in the total investment scheme, of course.
Absolutely.
Amazing. So what we heard today here on the floor, it's startups, it's scale-ups, it's people with a lot of ambition. Some of them already launched their first prototypes, other already in the production process. What role do the smaller companies play actually in a role of this bigger transition? Because it's enormous what we have to do. What role do we play?
I mean, I'll start with a couple of comments. I think the first is that don't underestimate how important you are to the overall kind of value chain. Right? I think the analogy I like to give is like a food chain, right, or an ecosystem whereby if you consider the ocean, you need the small plankton to exist for the large sharks to eventually exist as well, because the fish get eaten by the bigger fish, those get eaten by the medium-sized fish, and eventually you end up with these huge megafish that end up eating what's left over. So I think whenever you're considering an ecosystem, you need to understand that you need everyone at the top and everyone at the bottom to in some way kind of connect with each other. And I think, if you consider how startups work, there is a classic example of an ecosystem that is interdependent. So these dependencies that are required when you think about how large organizations actually end up integrating new technologies, integrating new ideas, integrating new groups of people, it kind of starts from the bottom up and then thinking through how to kind of connect and synergize with what it is that's out there that potentially these larger institutions aren't best at developing themselves. So, I'd say that these smaller companies have just as an important part to play as the bigger companies, although they may not be as visible.
Yeah, and the interesting thing is, of course, the big organizations, they're like slow. They're way slower in like changing course. And I think the startup scale-ups, they have like the possibility of going and then like being really truly disruptive. There's of course way more difficult, I think, for the established organizations of our world.
Yes, and so that's what I say. It's complementary, right? I think one can't really exist without the other, right? So,
totally. We need each other. That's the beauty of nature also in your ecosystem parallel. We need each other.
Exactly.
Yeah, totally. Yeah. What advice would you give to the participating startups today? If you could give them one or two advices.
Sure. Look, I'll probably have a whole thesis on this, but I'm going to try and condense it down just to a couple statements. Look, I think achieving net zero by the middle of the century is a gigantuan effort, right? So I think staying kind of committed, focused, and thinking through how everyone can have their own individual group impact is really important. I would touch upon some personal experience I have. My wife basically has been in the process of working on 3 startups over the past 3 or 4 years herself, and I think one of the things that she really struggled with was the funding side. I think, what I'd say is that try and be adaptable to the different forces that are out there that you need in order to survive, right? It doesn't need to be mutually exclusive to have the vision to try and save the planet while at the same time also being able to be commercially viable. And I think having that adaptability is quite important, and also having the tenacity to figure out how you can problem solve some of these contradictory forces that you sometimes see in terms of what investors want versus what it is that you're trying to achieve. Right, so stay true to your ambition, stay true to your goal, but make sure that you have that degree of adaptability and flexibility to incorporate some of the changes and the variations you need to make your ideas truly world-leading. Mm-hmm. And the last point I'd make is that ambition is your friend, right? You need to embrace it in as much form as you possibly can. There are times where it's going to be quite dark in terms of ideas not necessarily going the way you expect, funding running out, people having disagreements, and potentially not wanting to work together anymore. But that's all part of the wider journey, and I think that if you can weather those storms and kind of look on it on a long-term basis, understanding why you got into this in the first place, it helps to keep you in the right frame of mind to make sure that you do end up surviving the full length of the journey and achieving what it is that you want to personally achieve, as well as I think what the output of what you're trying to do actually ends up getting to the point it needs to in terms of these fantastic ideas and the innovation that you're trying to bring to bear.
Nice. So you basically say keep the resilience of the team, of the people also alive and kicking, because we need to face some challenges, big and small.
I think Yeah, I think for me personally, not speaking from an institutional perspective, but I think an entrepreneur is probably one of the hardest jobs you can do, because I think it's an umbrella term that requires a whole suite of skills that only has one word, which is entrepreneur, right? You need to be a fundraiser, you need to be a salesperson, you need to be a problem solver, you need to be an operations person, you need to think strategically,
human resources, hiring, everything.
Collaboration, right? Risk management. So don't, I said, get disheartened when things go wrong. You're doing a hard job, and I think that a lot of people admire what you're doing, even though you may not necessarily get the gratitude that you think you deserve straight away.
I really think that being an entrepreneur is like the best traineeship you can offer yourself at all times, because you have to play on all these different levels, all these different themes, and it's not all things that you learn in high school or in college or wherever. Well, luckily there's a program like ClimateLaunchpad, and there's EIT Climate-KIC and your collaboration that helps us at least. But it's challenging.
I often tell my wife it's more like an endurance test than a job.
Yeah.
Hopefully you survive.
It's not a sprint, but a marathon. Yeah, totally. There's a question, by the way, from Alex. I'm going to present it to you. Beyond technological and business model innovations, what are your thoughts on innovating in a macroeconomic sphere, like pursuing economic degrowth?
So, Stephen, I didn't catch the last word.
Degrowth. So. Degrowth.
As in that? Okay.
So we're talking about growth, but how, what are your thoughts on innovation on the opposite, on economic degrowth?
Yeah. Look, the thing is that I think it's a complex question, and to be fair, I think the strategic kind of analysis around this is better answered by people that are at the higher levels of my firm, because they see so much more. But from a personal perspective, I think that there are some fundamental questions that need to be answered around what the right model is for the future. And this is kind of one of those important questions that people do need to think through. I think, when we think about innovation, it is good to think about it in a three-dimensional way, as opposed to just technology or, if you like, pure environmental-driven ideas. Mm-hmm. And, the systems that we sit in terms of what controls the rules of how we operate, are things that people do need to think through in terms of what's best for challenges that we face as a society, business organizations, etc. Personally, when it comes to degrowth, I have my own views. I'm not going to necessarily air them here, because I think it would get into too much, should we say, controversy. But what I would say is that, I think that those kind of questions are exactly the kind of questions that people should be asking when it's thinking through how we build a better model for what happens in the future.
Okay, but that brings me to a personal question then. If you don't have your head on Bank of America, what is the sustainable Tony doing outside? Is your house sustainable? Are you reflecting on the things you buy, or how is sustainability and the things we stand for professionally also influencing your personal sphere?
Yeah, I think it's a good question. I mean, I think because I work in a global sustainable finance team. I mean, I do it for my job. I kind of understand some of the subtleties around the small changes that you can make that can have a big difference. And so, for example, in terms of recycling, I mean, we have, recycling bins at home that we make sure that we do use in a very disciplined way. Meat, I used to be a big meat eater. I've cut down the amount of meat I eat because of the implications in terms of, water usage, land usage, CO2 emissions from, farming animals, etc. Also, just in terms of transportation, I've cut down all of the transportation I use that would normally be greenhouse, so we say gas unfriendly. I have to walk to a lot more places, use public transport, etc. So I think those kind of small things added up when a lot of people are doing it make a massive difference. And I'm definitely an advocate for figuring out how to solve this from the bottom up. I think it does require this large scale, societal shift. Yeah. And the more that we kind of internalize it as opposed to just talk about it, and or have to put, if you like, our work clothes on to then figure out how to go and do it, I think the easier it will be all around to make sure that we do this in a very honest and should we say integrated manner.
Yeah, the reason I'm asking this question, it was off script, by the way, but we are all people. And in the end, we make decisions and we lead beautiful scale-up startups, banks, whatever. But it is very important, I think, to and that comes back to the question or the response of Gerdine also. We had a climate psychology professor here on stage earlier today. It's the human perspective that is so important, like being authentic to yourself, to your true self. So it's always best to have it aligned a bit. Like what are you doing personally and what are you doing professionally? So it's very.
I love that word. Authenticity.
Yeah.
I think it's a really important word. Yeah.
And how do you, because the bank looks at numbers, how do you integrate authenticity in your processes?
Yeah. I mean, the thing is that I think I mentioned it at the beginning in terms of we have Bank of America. We've committed to be net zero by 2050 across our operations and financing activities, right? So if you kind of think about that, because the thing is that, I mean, you can make choices, for example, as an institution to only kind of bank certain types of clients that are, if you like, green or ESG friendly, right? But the thing is that kind of in some ways passes the buck on to the client in terms of what they're doing. But what I'm saying is if you take the client side out of it, as an institution, we are looking to be net zero in terms of our supply chain, kind of who it is that, how we run our buildings, eco-friendly kind of policies in terms of printing, the amount of light usage we use, heating, etc. So to the extent that you look at Bank of America like a person, in some ways, I mean, the analogy is quite similar to some of the examples I gave in terms of what I personally do.
Thank you so much. Ladies and gentlemen, this was Tony Afori from Bank of America. The jury is almost finished their deliberation, so we will be back in a few minutes, and it's time for another quick break. See you. Everyone, welcome back. This is the moment we have all been waiting for, the regional final, and who will win the top 3 prizes of today. Just to recapitulate, 500 euros for the top number 3, 1,000 euros for the number 2 and 1,500 euros for the number 1. And of course, eternal glory, because you can put these prizes in your prize cabinet at home or wherever, and it will, of course, help you in everything that is coming next. And of course, you will be part of the global final. Before we will make the final announcements of the top 3, Joost, how was it in the deliberation room?
It was difficult with so many great initiatives. It's difficult to compare them in different markets, different stages. So we're very happy that all of the teams will go to the finals. So we have all winners here. But finally we were able to come to a very good top 3, I think.
There we see already, yes, everyone is here. Thank you for joining us live on stage here. Hello. You must be so curious what will be the end result. I've been told that there will be drums and everything, so please wait for the moment that is, now I think.
Yes.
You will, Swanette, you will be the one who is going to announce the number 3. So who will be the number 3 of the regional final in Europe?
Okay, after this whole difficult discussion, we found one startup where we said actually progressed a lot in a very competitive market. We had heard different solutions already, and based on this progressiveness and that we really think there's a client, that they really sit on something, we think the number 3 goes to Eslip.
Eslip! Woohoo! Eslip, do you have your thank you speech ready? Because that is like, we have some time for you to join us on stage here, because we would love to hear your first reaction towards winning this amazing 3rd prize. There you are.
Yeah, thank you very much. It's a total surprise, of course, and we are really grateful for everyone that supported us. And throughout the program, we really progressed a lot. And I always say that during those programs, it's not about winning the prize. Of course, it is very important and very nice to have, but it's all about sharing the experience and getting all the feedback and even talking to the same startup founders in the group that makes us better and progresses us. So thank you very much for all of those opportunities. We are very happy to be here and to receive the prize.
What will be the first person you're going to call after this show?
Yeah, well, my co-founder, of course.
Your co-founder. I hope you will celebrate together. Very well done. The prize of number 3 is yours. Congratulations. So that will bring us to the number 2 of today. Ilona Puskas, this will be the moment. You are, well, there will be drums, and then we have to build it up a bit, because it's like...
With the second prize, we would like to acknowledge one of the initiatives that tackles a very problematic supply and value chain, and we really appreciated that they put climate impact first. And without further ado,
the number 2 is
it's 5.
5. Yes, woo! Congratulations, 5. I think you are also live here in the studio. What are
Yes,
your
we're
first?
here.
How does it feel to be the number 2? This.
Thank you so much. We really appreciate it. It's going to be really useful for us currently. First of all, it's an honor to get the award in the first place, but we have a lot of R&D plans in place, and this funding is going to be really useful for us coming forward. So thank you so much, judges.
Amazing. Well, good luck with everything that's coming on your path, and we hope that the number 2 position in this regional final will definitely help you taking your next steps. Congratulations. Yeah, and this will be the moment that we've all been waiting for. Short of Bank of America is being honored to present to us the number 1. Are you ready, teams at home? Yeah, let's not keep us waiting any longer, they think. So please tell us, who is the number 1?
Yep. No, certainly. First of all, I think we saw 8 great pitches, so thank you all for your time, and it was really inspiring to hear all these ideas. I think for the number 1, we, as we alluded to in the beginning, we took into account the impact, climate impact, social impact as a very important factor. I think the party we've chosen is bravely tackling one of the largest issues that we face on the globe at the moment. It's a company that's still a little bit in R&D phase, but we saw very promising results already from that phase, and we want to encourage with this prize the company to continue on its journey. So the number 1
drums is
FlexiWag.
FlexiWag! Woohoo! Well, congratulations, FlexiWag.
Oh, so yeah, thank you very much. We didn't expect that. So
we're here.
We're here. Oh, sorry, we're here. Sorry.
You will be put live on screen. Yes, yes.
So we didn't really expect that. So
if you if you go to the left, then we see the both of you. Yes, this one. This, yes. We see you loud and clear.
Know what to say. We are sort of all over the place, as you can see.
So how are you feeling?
Okay, Thomas, how are you feeling?
Well, I mean, I'm feeling a bit flustered at the moment, given how many laptop screens we've got going on here. But no, it's great, guys. Thank you. What we've seen today is some, as you say, fairly small, currently small businesses tackling huge problems. So the fact that we can all join together here and all help each other and all show off what we're doing is, it's got to be good for going forward. So thank you so much, and well done to everyone else as well. It's been great to see all your endeavors.
Yeah, thank you so much.
Yeah, well, thank you, and we will see you in the global finals, definitely. But this prize is yours, number 1. Congratulations.
Thank you very much.
Yes. Yeah. Yeah, so here we have the top 3 again on the screen behind us. Eslip, number 3, number 2 goes to 5, and number 1 is FlexiWag. Congratulations to the top 3. Of course, to all the different startups that participated this year. Out of the almost 2,000 applicants, you were already part of this regional final. So that is already a prize you can put in your pocket, we say in Holland. I don't think this translates to English, but it doesn't matter. We would really like to thank you for participating in a program. It's not finished right now. We do have a final coming up, but you're also part of the alumni movement. So, and it's really a movement, so it's active. Join us, and then also use the network so we can keep in touch and help each other further on this ambitious road towards creating all the impact that we saw today here live on stage. Of course, a big applause to the top 3 winners of today and the top 24 teams that made it to the global final. Please root for these teams as they pitch in the global final, because they will be put together with all the finalists from all over the world. And we, of course, hope that there will be good winners also from the European delegation, so to say. Please also a warm applause. Can we do a little applause again for all the partners? Yes. Whoop. And the team of ClimateLaunchpad. So of course, EIT Climate-KIC for having this program and being able to help and to foster the entrepreneurial mindsets of all these amazing startups. TU Delft, Irish Aid, and Bank of America, and of course Bank of America for supporting these regional finals. For more information, please go to globalfinal.climatelaunchpad.org. More information will be broadcasted over there. What's coming next? The 27th of October, we will have a semi-final where 80 teams from all around the globe will participate for the win of the 16 teams that will continue to the global finals on the 3rd of November. The day after the 27th, so the 28th, we will announce which of the 16 teams will continue to the global finals. So please stay tuned for this great news. We will see each other again the 3rd of November because I will be part of the global finals, which is amazing with the top 16 teams from all around the world. Please keep up your amazing work. The future is now. You are participating in it. You have an active role in it. Good luck with everything in your path, and we'll see you very soon on the 3rd of November.
If I'm being honest, loving you the hardest thing to do, so I keep to myself. I feel like I'm falling in and out of